ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL,
Hello everyone and welcome on back to the ESL Challenger League European Edition. We are, well, right in the thick of Cup number 2, getting closer and closer to that finish line. I'm Naira Mizuki, I'm one of your casters today, and I'm joined once again by Grimmy Rana. Freddy, today's match looks like it's going to be pretty darn epic.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that this is like an upper bracket semi-finals, we've got K27 taking on Nemesis, but this is a game that I could very comfortably see being the grand finals when we get there. It's a CIS derby, and then I looked at the bracket and I was like, well, basically every game but one's a CIS derby, so it doesn't make it actually too special. But both teams are still technically in the contention for a major run. However, I do believe if either of these teams lose today, that's basically that like very slim chance gone. So it's a very interesting CIS derby and potentially continue the major dream run.
And well, that's not all they're in contention for. There is also a prize pool to be spoken about, and of course, whoever goes out here is going to lessen the amount that they're going to be walking away with. But it is a very nice prize pool nonetheless. So it's one of those things that we just keep working towards cup after cup. Now, looking at kind of how we've got here over the course of the last little bit for this cup, this bracket, I think, has been quite an intense one, but correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like we're missing a few notable names, and I feel like some of the results maybe were a little surprising, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like, kind of the fact that Musketeers get to, like, the quarterfinals when, they get knocked down in a similar stage to TDK. But yeah, TDK, kind of the main team, the previous cup winners, so they've already secured their spot in the Season 51 European Finals, which is a qualifier to Pro League. It's a qualifier for a qualifier for a qualifier. I suppose there's like some other smaller results of like TLR losing to Rottweilers, which is a pretty shocking result, and maybe a team like Namiga taking on one win so early, and that being like a big proving ground to see who is actually going to make it far in this tournament. But by and large, there's some maybe like weaker teams in this event, and it's going to give an opportunity for the likes of K27 or Nemesis to secure their spot in the regional finals. And K27, well, this team, I don't know if they can do much wrong.
Well, looking at their map win rates as well over the last 3 months, it looks like it's going strong, right? You got the one kind of outlier there that has not netted them too much success, so we'll kind of close our eyes to that one. They probably won't allow that through today, but over and above that, it has been looking very good for them. The other team, of course, that we're going to need to talk about is Nemesis, and what really excited me is I hadn't realized that Result had joined this team recently. I remember seeing him some time ago, and I was pretty impressed with him. So this does feel like, well, I want to say an upgrade. I mean, this is fairly newish under the Nemesis banner, but I feel like Result is a really good addition to this.
Yeah, I mean, it's the type of addition where it's like, Yxero wasn't playing badly, but Resol is just going to be an upgrade no matter what. He's played at an international level at majors. He's kind of seen as one of the better players from the region in that anchor role. And already with him, they qualified for the stake. I don't know what the exact like stake ranked episode 1 or whatever, like the tournament in Barcelona, and that's basically like the main part of the reason why Nemesis are still in contention for a major, and it's maybe given Celta some more also active positions. Like if we see a Mirage in the Veto, I'm not too sure. Oh, this Veto is Rogue, but we'll get onto that. But yeah, Result coming in just it adds so much more stability to this Nemesis roster. In my opinion, it raises the floor like 10 times what it was, and that's not a bad thing. Those vetoes are wrong. That's flipped.
Yes.
Yeah, this sorry, like the vetoes have thrown me off. But yeah, like Yig Zero wasn't bad, but Resalt's just that much better. And I think that is if it was with Yik Zero, I'd be saying K27 have this. With Resalt, it's a different story.
Oh, okay. I mean, bearing in mind that K27 have won all of their matchups leading up to this over the last little while, so looking forward to seeing how that does pan out. And as you did point out, the veto is reversed. So the first ban was Nemesis, they banned out Inferno, and then K27 banned out in Anubis, and then so it goes from there. And I mean, I think it's a fairly kind of straightforward veto from these guys. No, like, crazy mind games or whatever coming through. It's, I think, more or less what could have been expected. Maybe just the overpass float being a little bit of an interesting one, but I mean, we've got to get there for
Hot take.
Go on.
I wanted Nemesis to pick overpass.
Oh, okay.
And that would have been like, that's what I see also a part of Nemesis have to win, because they've really had an issue with this veto of K27 have kind of always had the better of them. And it's like, okay, Nemesis, do we pick Ancient, which we're really good at? Well, K27 kind of own us on that. Do we pick Nuke, which we're very good at and very happy to pick into? Well, they kind of own us on that. So I was kind of seeing this veto of just like, there's going to be a Dust 2, K27 are probably going to win that Dust 2. So Nemesis have to look at they have to look at map pick. Do they go to an overpass, which they had demolished TDK on previously in this tournament? I think it was like 13-3. And that was obviously, okay, CT size start because TDK picked into it. But I was like, Nuke and Ancient haven't worked, and it wasn't like they were close games. You got owned on those maps. So try and shake up the veto, go to an overpass potentially. Regardless, I'm still kind of happy to see it's a decider. I feel like overpass can be where Nemesis get the edge.
Yeah, I mean, that might even have been the thinking process, I suppose, but it's always a little bit of a gamble because you don't know that it is going to be allowed to float, particularly with the performances that K27 have had on this map in recent times. There's always that possibility that they do end up banning that out, so it is a little bit of a risky play, but, you know, if it does go to 1-1, then they've got that in their back pocket to potentially kind of help them through with it. So maybe we can focus in a little bit on our first map of the series. What are we thinking about this Dust 2 pick? Like, what's kind of our temperature check going into this between the two teams?
As kind of mentioned in that little spiel I did of like K27, okay, they haven't been necessarily too consistent on this Dust 2 map. Like, even in this tournament, they lost to G2 Ares. That's a loss that I don't believe they should ever like have. You know, they had an awful T side, they picked into it like that. It shows that there is maybe a kind of flaw to it, but they seem very consistent against Nemesis. I think K27 are going into this map super confident. They've been amazing online and on LAN. They've been definitely on a hot streak with a CCT victory and also just numerous victories at regional LANs like the Exort Cataclysm Season 1 and the MPKBK CIS LAN. Very tongue twister, but like these LANs, they're only CIS teams because they're based in like Russia or somewhere that is maybe not like massively accessible to the rest of the European teams, and it's always got the best CIS teams. And K27 always are contending for either like top 3 or first. They have been playing amazing and have proven themselves on LAN over like the last 6 months, including the end of last year, whereas Nemesis maybe haven't taken I'd say like the bestest of victories. So it's like an on form K27 with Nuke actually as the first map. And I think Nuke is where K27 have to come in. They've owned Nemesis on it before. They beat big in the CCT Grand Finals to lift that title only a couple days ago on Nuke, where they picked into it. So they're comfortable on it, and they're starting on the CT side. This, I think, could be a very rough start for Nemesis, and I'm looking at the likes of Texi, who played amazing, and I say amazing with a capital A against TDK, and he needs to step up. He is like the guy you're looking at to bring the fire, and without him, even if other people step up, I think you need that ceiling of Texi.
Yeah, I mean, so we've kind of mentioned Result and Texi and, you know, what they're going to be bringing to the table here. But from K27 side, I mean, this is a pretty stable team that haven't really had too many changes at all over the last like year. So are there any players here that we're kind of looking for to see, you know, how they perform today? Anyone that's maybe been disappointing recently, or someone that's been on a hot streak? You know, what do you got for us?
No one's disappointing. This team has 0 disappointments. Their coach gives lovely interviews. That's something I want to say. He's just a lovely guy. 30 years old. He's kind of like the dad of the team. But this team has such a high floor and such a high ceiling. And the reason why the ceiling is so high is because, okay, obviously you've got a player like Texi and Exido, who is the star player, and is just like, will be dropping a consistent like 1.15. That's a very, and they're very aggressive. So you've got very similar players on both sides of Texi and Exido, and Clashid, I think, gives a big, he, in my opinion, gives K27 an edge over Majiki. I believe he's much more initiative AWPer, where Majiki sometimes I feel like I see him like not just going for the play, which I would have maybe anticipated for, and that is because of the aggressive riflers around him. But I think the most impressive part of K27 has to be Quinky. He plays not the best positions, you know, dude's playing mostly anchor roles, like on Nuke plays towards ramp, on Dust 2 plays B anchor, but damn can he play those roles. Like, I think the best example is when he dropped a 3.44 HLTV rating, a 26-2 game against Fnatic. That is their small site anchor who can do that. And I think that's the difference between K27 and a lot of teams, is the depth of their anchors and not necessarily just the players you'd look at.
I love how, like, the depth of knowledge of all of these teams that you always bring to our broadcasts. It really does add so much to the experience. I do just want to let everyone know we are having some slight technical issues with one of our players, which is why we've kind of had to yap a little bit here. So please do just bear with us. We're hoping to get that sorted out as quickly as humanly possible. But we were looking at the bracket a little bit earlier on, and you briefly mentioned a couple of teams. Was there anything else on the bracket that had kind of stood out to you now that we've got a little bit more time to kind of go into it?
I mean, I've obviously got the bias of the TLR, the UK boys. I guess actually maybe like them beating Heroic Academy was also quite a good result, but Heroic Academy played with their coach, so it's kind of like, yeah, it is what it is. I'll be honest, there's been Sangao being dropped into the lower bracket by Ursa in like round 1. That's a pretty big result. I think that's quite disappointing. Ooh, there was another one. Where are Hyper Spirit? They, if I'm not mistaken, beat Eternal Fire. That was a biggie. I remember watching that and being in disbelief. Eternal Fire with Jota, Demia, Waro, Regon, and then M-Star, who's their IGL. And I've never seen a team with, like, you could see the ego like on the server and how little they respected Hyper Spirit, and a team with big up Rupert Hoop, the big Belgium coach, UK's finest. He bred through the UKCS. He's got his team drilled. He's got his Romanian team drilled. And I watched that. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe Hyper Spirit have beaten Eternal Fire. That's like actually one of the bigger upsets of like the month in tier 2. And then they lose to Harvu in the next round. And I was like, you've got to be joking. You've beaten Eternal Fire to lose to Harvu. But like that genuinely is like that result of like an Eternal Fire losing or a Sangao losing in round 1. Like those are really, really like whoa results.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so when we were, you know, before we went live, sitting in the green room, and I was talking to you about how I was like really impressed to see that Nemesis had taken a win over TDK, and you were like, yeah, both of these teams have beaten them, and that kind of makes sense or whatever. So here's me looking at the roster of TDK and thinking, surely there should be more expectation there. What am I missing with this roster that has you like, nah, this checks out?
That's sorry, I don't. That is the epitome of every roster that Nafany and Axar has been in, and Groove as a coach for the last, like, I don't know, like, since Cloud9. Like, that is literally the exact conversation every single person, no matter who you are, has had. If they've just looked at the team and be like, how? Like, you know, you've got Axel, who was literally a top 5 player of the year. Like, he was the 5th best player in Counter-Strike. Like, yo. And then he's here in TDK, and you're looking like, oh, okay, tier 1 IGL, he's won S tier events. Okay, you've got a really class AWPer. You've got Xanta, who just, like, literally became a top 15 team with Namiga when they had no right to be. And then you look at some of their results, and you're just like, oh, they're losing to WW, a streamer team, 2-0 on LAN, where Deco is farming them in 2026. Right. Okay, that's sick.
Incredible. Apologies, folks, this is taking a little bit longer than we anticipated, so I'm going to pivot to something that has absolutely nothing to do with our game, but is, you know, Counter-Strike in general.
Where's this going?
This is going to some recent changes, Freddie, that have come out in a recent patch. We'll kick off with the Inferno changes. How are we feeling about the changes to Inferno?
Well, what? It's literally just the balcony on... I like the balcony, because it's a lot more like CSGO, so it's just kind of what we had before. Mm-hmm. But with railing. To be honest, you don't notice it that much. Maybe lurkers do, because you can kind of... Like, yeah, to be honest, the balcony, like, I think you have more space, but CTs, actually, yeah, the CTs can play balcony more. I think that's basically it. Like, I think you can theoretically... Well, when I first saw it, I got on a server and I was like, oh, if you walk out balcony as a T side, you can see a player under balc, which you couldn't really do before if you, like, jump on the railing. But when are you ever going to be able to walk out balcony and shoot a player under balc? Like, not under balcony, like, short, like, under the roof thing. I was like, when could you realistically ever do that? The graveyard changes is a biggie. It definitely, I suppose, nerfs post plants a lot for the T side. And also for the T side, a big meta was like, if you've got a player apps and you're wrapping A on Inferno, you would flash out and, like, they'd land in grave and they'd blind everyone on site. So you can't do those flashes anymore. And I think, and the reason why that's so good is because it wouldn't blind your players long, but it'd blind them on site. So the removal of Graveyard, in my opinion, actually nerfs that, like, one specific play. But apart from, like, the odd post plant, it's actually not very noticeable.
Yeah, post plants was kind of the thing that I was thinking of. I seem to remember, I can't even remember who was playing, but a particularly nasty triangle between someone in Graveyard.
Yeah, see, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But you could still, like, people still sometimes play there. Not often, though. Never as a CT side. Like, you could never be there realistically as a CT. Sure. It's only ever a post plant now. Whereas before, you know, you'd see, like, some crackhead AWPer being like, I'm going to peek short from Graveyard.
I mean, talk about an off angle, right? And that, of course, brings us to the other change, which is the... Oh, no, never mind. We're not going to talk about that now.
I mean, we probably still could, realistically.
Yeah, we've probably got a little bit of time. We've also got a pistol round, so I suppose we can yap through this. But we'll wait for another opportune moment, because it is now time. Damn. Okay. Round 1 armor. Yeah. Let's see if it pans out. We're going for an aggressive play. No, just a slight smattering of aggressive utility. Buy a little bit of space. No commitment just yet. I thought that was going to be much more of a pop than it ended up being. Hit the brakes.
What is going on?
Oh, that's chaos. Okay.
What?
Yep, there you go.
The most normal Nemesis game ever.
got a split moving down towards ramp. Relaxi picks up his second. Now Quink all alone does get overrun. Zito there to back him up, but unfortunately a little bit late there to create that crossfire. That's okay. Relaxi just carries on through, picks up another 2 kills. Yeah, that's a nasty round from Relaxi.
Just very confused how Zagev is like Sadaim's like on his head in vent, but I think they dropped at the same time, which is even more amusing. But Relaxi should have died when he even got the first kill. So the fact he doesn't die, he gets 4 kills. A wild pistol round, and I think that really sets the tone for what's about to happen. Nemesis, I don't think I've ever seen a team hold W more, and then they're rivaled in that aspect by the likes of K27 or like a Nuclear Tigers. You know, they're all in that same category of everyone's really crisp and everyone's really confident. So it creates a very fun dynamic. But I think definitely, as we spoke about Vito a long time ago, it's important to understand that Nuke, if K27 win this, I'm kind of already calling the 2-0. Nemesis would have the advantage of they know Dust 2 was going to be in the veto, but that hasn't helped them before. So Nuke, like Nemesis, I think they really got to buckle up their ideas, and when the guns come out, maybe a little less, well, I was going to say a little less chaos, probably maybe even more chaos is needed.
Well, let's see what plays out here. I did like that we had a little bit more advanced positioning. That smoke now. He's going to have a little bit of an opportunity to back away, but they're pushing straight through the smoke and straight into his waiting arms. The crossfire set up by the Famai. Oh, and there's a team kill to boot. But you know what? Doesn't really make too much of a difference. Ultimately, I think this round was always going to go this way.
You know what Nemesis? You know what Nemesis win at before they even enter the server? They got the coolest jersey ever. I think dubbed as the jersey that you can touch grass with. I'll give him that. Their jersey is definitely the best jersey in esports. So before they even enter the server, they've already won. But this is a very important gun round. You've got Galils on Result and Celta to just buy up the utility, and they're throwing late outside smokes. Texi, I could imagine seeing him getting quite aggressive in these rounds and really poking and prodding towards Secret, but if he does in this round, needs to be very careful of Exido, and, well, Texi's read him. Molotov, not in Secret, he's thrown it specifically to clear out the exact position Exido was in. Here comes a second set of utility. Texi just needs to be careful of a very quick rotation of Zagev.
He's repositioned himself quite nicely here as well. Result waiting for that swing, manages to connect that beautifully. Nemesis getting quite aggressive in this round and somewhat being punished for it. Not expecting Texi to be there, and it does pay off. The very angle that his teammate was using comes back to bite them. Now down to only 1 player as Relaxi is also wiped from the board. Doesn't seem like there's too much more to be said for this round. See what Cashel opts to do here. Pushing forward, taking a bit of space. It's all about potentially getting some exits here, but I don't think he's really going to push for it.
Okay, Nemesis are ready. They're definitely ready for this map. That round, it was like start to finish, they knew exactly what to do. Very clear game plan and very clearly executed. It was from Exido's position in Secret to the push on ramp to holding for the second layer of aggression towards Secret. It's like really just a well done round for Nemesis, and getting their first round on the board, taking everyone down with them. You can see that K27 don't really have the best money because of that.
And obviously, yeah, getting that final kill as well. You know, realistically, you really want this to be that bonus where you get to hold on to those guns for the next, but not going to be the case. Another little pause coming through here, folks, so please do just bear with us. could be as good a time as any to bring it up. The mag changes, the
Oh,
reload
yeah.
changes. Freddie, what do we think about that?
It only matters if you're a noob.
Outstanding.
Like, okay, I had one time. I've been playing a lot of pugs recently. You know, I've been no lifing, bit of CS, prac, pug, whatever. Only time I've ever seen it be an issue is when someone accidentally reloads twice on a pistol. Apart from that, ever. I think what it does, like, so I saw Maui Snake put a tweet out, be like, oh, this is a really good change because now people can't just get spammed outside through the smokes before the round gets started. No. They still are. It's just the CT side are going to spam the whole magazine, then reload. It's literally the only change. And I've never noticed anyone notice it in a gun round. It's literally just the pistol round where you got to be careful that you're not like, you're just don't be stupid and you're fine.
I did find the reasoning quite funny because it was like we want to make reloads feel like more not necessarily meaningful, but like you've got to really think about it. And I just thought to myself, how many times have we not seen people getting shot in the middle of a reload animation? Like, it's not like it was ever that much of a consideration. But I mean, by and large, I don't think it was necessarily going to make that much of a difference. But I'm curious to see how it plays out, if it does, become a talking point in response to something actually happening, if that makes sense.
I just don't like. I saw the change and I was like, oh, it's just not really needed.
I did love. I think it was it Scrawny? I don't want to attribute this to somebody and then it wasn't them and then I feel like a knob. But somebody was like, nobody asked for this. And the response was like, nobody asked for dynamic smokes. Nobody asked for removing the skybox. Like, this is just... things change. The game evolves. Get with it.
It's crazy. This is the... this game, I've just kind of been looking at like more of the head-to-heads between these teams because obviously some of them were between Gun 5, but like by and large, it's the exact same team. And that does go on to another point about how much I love the fact that Nemesis picked up this roster from Gun 5 because Gun 5 are on the rise, yada, yada, yada. But Nemesis, Gun 5, whoever, LAN, online, really, no matter what, have never, ever, ever beaten K23 and have only taken them to 3 maps 3 times. But one of them was with Result, and Result had a pretty good game. So I think his addition, as I said, is a big influence to the progression of Nemesis against a team like K27. But I still imagine it's maybe just like a little bit far off, especially because of how good K27 are playing right now. It's actually hard to keep up with how many LANs or online events K27 win.
Apologies, folks. We are hoping to get back into the game shortly. Please just bear with a few moments longer. So Tech Girl does this podcast, right? Where she does the whole "Sell Me This Pro" thing.
Oh yeah.
With Brandon B-Dog.
B-Dog.
And it kind of the goat. B-Dog the goat. Yes. And it kind of got me thinking about some of the players on this matchup. And particularly because you've been kind of really singing the praises of some of these K27 guys. So if you had to make a prediction, who do you think would be from this team the most likely to kind of make that jump first from, these players?
Probably Quinky. Just because... This is actually a hard one. I want to say Quinky just because he's 17 and he plays roles where you're in demand of a player in that role. Whereas someone like Zido who plays star player roles, There isn't honestly necessarily that much of a demand for like a top star player, but I think Quinky is going to have more like eyes around him because he plays, as we can see, towards ramp. He's like, he's kind of a ROPS, right? Like you look at those. If you can master like and the anchor role, I believe you can. Apart from if you are the best players in the world, like Dong, you are by large more sought after. So I'm gonna say Quinky as Nemesis enter a gun round where they're up against a 5-7 MP9 for mass, low utility, and this time they're committing all down secret after they kind of were faking it last round, and they've actually used the exact same smoke setup to just sell that maybe it's a fake again.
Well, there's certainly an inkling here. Zito's up close and personal. Ooh, doesn't even get one before he's run over. And that's the last vestige of a defensive line here. And I think that was kind of the call here from Nemesis to heavily reinforce that A-bomb site. Leave one towards B. Let's see if I'm right. If I'm correct in my assertion, this should just end up in a save because they have lost that one player. And yes, that does in fact appear to be the case. Because losing all your weapons here puts you in a near unrecoverable scenario. Relaxy on a flanking mission here. Ooh, who's gonna spot who first? Ah, that's unfortunate. But there you go. 3 guns saved into the next round, and another pretty dominant one from Nemesis.
Yeah, I just really love that round because of they structure it the exact same way, but this is now making it uncomfortable for K27 because okay, Nemesis have done the exact same thing with utility, but they've done the complete opposite with their movements. And that's why it's important sometimes to just get the ball rolling early on the T side of a map like Nuke, because you set the tone and you set what's being conditioned and what's not. If you start the half very rough as a T side, it can be very difficult when you get into round 9, 10, 11, 12, because you haven't necessarily faked anything because you haven't won anything. You get what I mean? And Nuke is a map where I think it's the most important.
Oh, goodness me. Okay. Cash really not expecting that one. That's unfortunate, losing your first player so early on in the round here. And again, it's very pots and pans as they've got those few rifles saved from the previous, or few guns rather, resold through the smoke. That's already one of those guns snatched away. Let's see if we can maybe get a little bit of damage done here. But with all the smokes in the way, I mean, Nemesis are doing a great job of just obscuring absolute all vision towards outside. And you said it right. I mean, it's very early on, but they've started with a little bit of conditioning here so they can start taking that space very early on. They can pivot if they need to, but they really haven't come up against too much resistance. Quinky now the last one left alive. Try and hold on to this pathing. I spoke about pivoting. I mean, Nemesis could just, yep, there you go. Celta clearing out, checking A. Hey guys, it's free and clear. Bomb can pivot. Give it a moment. And yep, there it is. Okay. That's basically round over. I don't think Quinky's going to get too much done in this one. And again, it's just a very, very early opening frag that turns into a snowball.
I mean, this round isn't necessarily like the biggie. Damn. So damn even. Sorry, that was shot. But yeah, like this round, you can see Clashid goes for more of a gimmick play just because they have 2 players on USP and the 3 saved weapons. The reason why those saved weapons are kind of important going into a round like that is because it would ordinarily just be a full eco. So on the force buy, you gamble somewhere, they don't go there, you save those weapons for the eco, you go for a gimmick with that eco, doesn't work, it's all grand, doesn't really matter. You kind of shoot a shot, as one would say. But here, K27, they take their first tactical timeout. I would have thought that we maybe had enough time to chat about things during all those pauses, but here we are. There is a big concern, however. I'm taking a look at this purchase. This is a very important gun round. MP9 for mass, MP9 2A1Ss. It's not great.
It's risky. You know?
Well, it's not it's a necessity because of utility. Like you want these players to have util, so you have to go to these lower weaponry, and you've only got one kit on Zagev, so low purchase, do a gimmick where you get close.
Ooh, well there you go. So Dame runs into 2 players waiting, but obviously that can get calmed over now. They know that it's there. Flash comes out, opens up exactly what they needed. The follow-up is fantastic. This aggression paying off absolute dividends now. Zagev looking to try and bite back, do a little bit of damage himself if he can. Nemesis now have to rethink their positioning. Bomb's still kind of hovering at the moment. Haven't committed to a change just yet. Oh, this is great from Zagev. If he can remain unnoticed, he'll be able to get a free kill here and an upgrade right into his crosshairs. And there we go. Free kill, upgrade. Celta's all alone. There's not too much he's going to be able to get done here, I fear. Knows that there's someone up here. Wants to deny that gun from being saved if he can, but Zagev makes the right call here. Plays this that little bit more safely. And with still 40 seconds remaining, I think, there you go. They push out. They shut him down. And Nemesis finally find themselves back on the board. Sorry, not Nemesis. K27.
It's a really lovely round. They have the lower weaponry. And they have to make a play like that, and they do. Exido comes from outside, joins up with Quinky on ramp, and they do something aggressive. If Nemesis weren't all kind of in lobby, they potentially could have reacted outside with the information of Exido and ramp, so deep like that. But that wasn't the case, and they kind of all fell apart. So we're seeing just the layers of a game like this already, and the 2 Goliaths of Exido and Texi come head to head. No one falls, but Texi gets brought down pretty low. A late nade in the smoke. Unfortunately, Exido spots nothing. 3 players drop down secret. There's still a player top main, so Result, he can just control all of outside while his teammates commit down secret, and Sadame is going to come late towards ramp, hoping to catch off someone like Klashid as he rotates down to support Kinky.
And I love all of this map control as well. Like, they've got so many avenues and areas held for late rotations, for potential flanks. They're only sending a small contingent down with that bomb, realizing the B bomb site is usually going to be that little bit less, well guarded. I say that. It's Quinky. It's the anchor. We'll see what he's able to do here. Result has now moved to meet up with the rest of his teammates. So this gives Dame a possibility to...
well, it's not A, guys.
A bit of a fake, but yeah, there you go. The fake, whatever what they were trying to sell is not being bought. So we have to now step on the accelerator down towards that B bomb site. And already, Wiki has fallen by the wayside. Bomb gets planted. Ooh, Zagev caught with his back turned. Celta, a beautiful double from him. And that leaves the last remaining vestiges of K27 retreating for the hills.
It's just rough. They don't really have any information. Like, Nemesis, get down secret. They've lost outside control, and they just sit K27, 3 on A, 1 ramp, 1 down B. Despite them getting that kill on A and then hearing nothing, it's just too late. I think in that round, K27 had to do something aggressive in the mid round somewhere, but the gamble at the 30-second mark was just, okay, we're going to commit towards the A bomb site. That hasn't worked out. Gonna have to probably go for a save. So Nemesis, they've just been pounding outside and down secrets. K27 are going to have to be more cautious of that.
Alright, we've got an AWP in hand now. See if there's a possibility here for it to get some value. They're so weary of that elevated position as well. Wouldn't be the first time Shield got caught out from there. This time, nobody's home. Instead, now we've got a bit of a ramp lean. Nemesis have K27 have changed up where they're holding. So now Quinky's back over towards ramp. Oh man, Quinky cannot catch a break, and Kashild misses that opening AWP shot as well, forced to have to reposition. Unfortunately now, numbers disadvantage. Oh, but it's Segev. He's the one that comes up massive. That's the anchor you needed. A 3K from him. And Zito to follow it up. Leaves Magicy all alone now into the smoke. Manages to spray down and still connect that kill. But left in a 1 versus 2. Low on health. Does have the bomb on his back. And just under a minute remaining here to make it happen. Could potentially pivot if he wants to, but not going to waste that time. Instead, go ahead and punch those numbers in. The sound cue will come through, and Relaxy starts to make his way in. A potential pincer coming through. Timing on this is going to be important. Relaxy spotted him out, and Relaxy finishes the job. K27, despite how, you know, unstable things have looked, they do manage to bring themselves back into it.
Yeah, big round from Zagev, the IGL. It's always an interesting move when I think about this roster and Zagev becoming the IGL when I never really expected it, but he gets baited in by the fact that Sedame dies on ramp. Clash Sheet's making noise towards hell. They don't maybe expect someone to be on the back of the bomb site. And on one hand, it's a really good round from Zagev, but on the other hand, it's just poor from Nemesis that they don't get those trades and they don't expect him. And no one should ever be allowed to get 3 kills, especially after he just gets the first. Shouldn't even get a second. Nonetheless, a third. So very poor round from Nemesis, but the bomb down and a lot of money in their back pocket. They're still going to be committing to these purchases. They even probably have another despite losing, if they lose this. But this game, it's heating up. And I could not tell you in this moment where a map like this is going to end.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk about the concern of the fact that Nemesis have already managed to pick up 4 here on their T side, but as you say, you never really can tell. Let's give it a bit of breathing room here. We still have another 4 rounds to play through before we know for certain what we look like, where things stand going into that second half. Again, heavy presence towards outside. Had a lot of success with this, to be fair, so it makes a lot of sense. Nothing spotted off of that HE. The swing, however, does get them a bit of vision, but can't confirm a kill. Slowly chipping away, doing some damage. Finally, Sedame falls, but Result trades it back, so keeps it on an even kilter. Zagev now holding up close and personal, waiting to see if someone takes the opportunity to push in front of him. Bearing in mind now, Nemesis only have 1 flash and 1 Molotov left, so they are running out of utility to kind of propel them anywhere, stuck in outside as well. So if they want to cross this, outside area, could find themselves in some serious danger. Doesn't help that bomb stuck behind red as well. So if they want to turn back, they have to commit that. So either way, that utility would likely need to be committed. Or as I say that, Celta just kind of swings out. That forces Zagev to reposition so they can recover the bomb and start moving. But we're down below 30 seconds, so we don't have a lot of opportunities here if they are actually going to commit. It needs to happen now, and again, that bomb has been dropped. Recovery seeming undoable, so damage will be the call of the day as we hit that 10-second mark. This round is done and dusted, and K27 find themselves a lead.
It's a lead where Clashid, I don't think I've even really seen him ever be in a position to contend. Relaxy is going to get caught as he tries to hunt. So only 2 stay alive for K27, but they retake the lead after a rather stagnant couple rounds for Nemesis. It felt like they came with the heat at the beginning of this game, but that's kind of maybe fizzling out a little bit towards the end of this first half. It is a positive nonetheless, though, to already see Nemesis get to 4, as last time against K27 they only got 4. So they've hit that benchmark. Can they maybe exceed it as they throw outside smokes? And they kind of got caught just in no man's land outside last time. Rashid with the AWP. That, ooh, if he was still scoped in, that would have been a 3 kill. But he needs to be careful because he's being held for from Silo. And he is going to be able to fall back. But if Nemesis try to commit down Secret, already Zagev is there to meet him. But I love this. Nemesis, they're going to be wrapping towards main. They've done this before, but headed down Secret. This time, they're changing it up. And K27 none the wiser.
Oh, it's just a pincer at this point.
Wait,
and yet, stability! Outrageous! Zagev has been playing out of his mind. The way that they're able to set up a crossfire here, pushing out from behind. It's like a reverse pincer. It's pinception. And somehow, K27 finds stability in a round where they probably shouldn't have.
Where's he even come from? I would have loved to see a replay of that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess he just survived in door as they split towards A and he pushed into lobby. But like, that's sad for Nemesis because that round, I was seeing that and I was like, okay, they threw these exact same smoke sequences in the first anti-force and they held lobby. In the first gun round, same sequence, rush down Secret. They've done it again, like, and they did something different, can't remember exactly what it was. And then here, like, 4th time, wrap towards main. You know, they're keeping K27 on their feet, so much so Zagev was down vent. He was down vent, rotated up the vent, and caught them off guard. That was it. He'd rotated down Secret, and that's, I mean, in itself, a success. Nemesis had forced the AWP deep outside, forced Zagev to go down Secret, and yet they still somehow lose the round. A concerning one at that.
Now down to some pots and pans themselves. A hero AK to try and give them a little bit more oomph into this round, but it's a complete shutout. The Tech 9 will at least pick up one. Well, they have managed to recover that rifle as well, but look where the bomb is. I mean, I respect the attempt, the idea, the thought process, but these last 2 players, with the way the round has gone... Okay. We've still got a minute left here, and the last remaining players have managed to meet up with one another.
This is possible.
Yeah, K27 are pretty split as well. So if you can try to isolate this as much as possible.
Majiki's going to get shot on the side. Oh, Zito made noise!
Oh my god, he turns around at the right time! No, he doesn't know the second one is there, but he does, he turns back! Holy, the spidey senses on this man are absolutely unreal. And now Kishild, what was looking like a potential setup for a pincer, might just become the need to hold on to this AWP. As the A site has been completely cracked open, the bomb is going to get planted. And I don't see a way back into this one. Nemesis pulled a hat out of a rabbit here.
Okay. I'll give Majiki that second kill, so the 3rd from in the round. Like, that was nuts. But the first kill, because my brother made a step. My brother came around the corner. Bum, 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 bum. Like, the second kill, yeah, fair enough. I can't believe he's expected a second player wrapping outside. That's, like, genuinely nuts. He can have that one. But, whoa, this was a force buy from Nemesis. Again, the most normal Nemesis round I've ever watched in my life. They sent 3 down vent, and they were being held for. Like, Quinky, he's just... the fact that he's in vent, holding... Okay, that's crazy. Sorry, that's actually mental. But yeah, it's the fact that Quinky's in vent, like, I'm ready for the vent drop. It's so funny to me. But most normal Nemesis round, vent drop doesn't work. Okay, now 2v4, 1 out. Majiki, what a round. He's having impact, not on the AWP, but on the rifle, whereas Kashid is having no impact this game, really, at all. And that's, I think, the reason why it's so tight. The AWP has just been non-existent.
Well, we've already kicked off this last round with absolute chaos. Trades back and forth. Resold barely surviving by the skin of his teeth after getting that kill onto Exito. He's still holding for this potential push. He knows that K27 like to get crazy aggressive. Zagev is playing this really well. He's holding the line, and he does, in fact, catch Resold. So that's the bomb as well. he can just babysit that, call in a rotation, a reinforcement of some kind. I say babysit. In fact, opting to play that a bit safer. That, however, was the opposite of safe. But that's okay, because Zagev will still I mean, there are kills all over the map here. This is really messy, but we keep it on an even pathing, which I think is the most important thing to note here. We'll see now with 40 seconds remaining. How do Nemesis approach this? 2 Molotovs and a flash. But K27 have managed to hold on to at least 1 smoke, which I think could be a bit of a game changer here in these last dying moments of the round. Zagev turns away, turns back. Perfect timing. And Relaxi finds the final kill onto Majiki. Somehow, K27 snag the lead at the half.
Time not needed, keeping us and production on our toes. As a first, no halftime break, but who cares, because the action, we just keep on injecting it into our veins, and to be honest, that's far more exciting. A pistol setup to counter a ramp pop. Celta, oh no, he's moved. He had the flash held from hell. So Dame has pushed close ramp, but this still might be successful. Dual Berettas up close and personal. 3 players on the other side. They don't expect him, but Relaxi flicks onto his head, and K27 have the advantage as they surge down towards the B-bomb site. Celta overlooked, but still dealt with after the first.
Oh, high octane from start to finish. Doesn't matter who's on which side. Majiki trying desperately to make this a little bit more contestable, but now Result has been left all alone. Bomb has been planted. He doesn't have a kit. He's landing shots like nobody's business. Can't get much more done though, unfortunately. And K27 with a very impactful first pistol round. And you know what? Like I said, high octane from start to finish. No, what is that expression? All gas, no brakes. That's clearly the theme here.
A great YouTube channel. All gas, no brakes. I think when you see a CIS derby, first of all, you can probably expect that. But then secondly, with Nemesis in it, it's, yeah, really expected. They're on their CT side now, so it's K27's time to lead the momentum. And look at this from Zagev. The IGL has just taken the whole of outside control and has been overlooked. Majiki jiggles outside. Zagev has already got too close, but wait, the time is going to be crazy here. Zagev walked up the ladder. Majiki, he's been shot in the side of the head. He spotted the player top half, but there's still 2 more players on the A-bomb site. Unfortunately, they only get 1 kill. So Dame is going to come up heaven, and Celta in the vents might be overlooked. I think, unfortunately, with the bomb going down now, he's lost his timing, and this should be a short round for K27, and it's the force buy as well. So Nemesis, they lose this. They're going to then go on to an eco. It's going to be 10 for K27. An impossible retake made possible by the 5-7. It's getting 2. Clashid, he's had no impact this game whatsoever. What a time it would be to come alive. 18 HP versus 6, no kit. And unfortunately, I think that's going to do it. Clashid technically wins the clutch by just staying alive.
Play for time. Sometimes that's all you have to do. Aw, man, I really thought he might be far enough away. But nope, denied. Look, damage done is certainly nothing to turn your nose up at. Losing the round is obviously not the scenario you wanted to be in, but at least you're kind of forcing that reinvestment, so you're forcing potential kind of long-term economic turmoil. I mean, looking at what Nemesis are bringing into this round as well, you've got a slew of MP9s and the 1M4. Meanwhile, for K27, the reinvest, it's still better, but it's still very pots and pans. Let's see if K27 can hit that double digits as Sadame holds on to the ramp position here. Already spotted, information given over. Somehow happy feeting his way to surviving just that little bit longer, but finally does get caught out. Lots of utility just to deny anyone else from trying to contest this push down ramp. But they slow down. I haven't really seen anyone else just yet, so need to be wary of the fact that there could be a stronger contingent of players down below, and so they are. These MP9s holding these closer angles. Dixie getting a little bit nervous hearing that gunfire, but trust in his teammate. Oh, and as the flames come through, he just swings straight into it, and 3 players stare him down and do not flinch. But it's going to be the decision to not push the ramp taken here. And they still have just under a minute remaining. Look at Resalt's positioning. He's taken a very aggressive play here once again. So looking to try and catch these rotations if he can. Catches the first. No trigger discipline to be found here. And instead of sticking around, they leave Quinky to try and deal with it. And so he does. Mops up the one last vestige. A magic key from up on high. Spots out the first, but is shut out. And leaves Celta all alone. He's picked up an M4. Probably just gonna try to hold on to it. Bit of a stressful round, but K27 continue with their hot streak.
Yeah, and it's a very important round. All 10 players died last round, so Nemesis went for a big gamble and reforced in. It's like the epitome of high risk, medium reward. Because the reward is survival, not necessarily a supreme victory. And they come out worse for wear. They're going to have to take an eco. I mean, surely they don't force again. They're taking their second timeout as we speak. But it's a round where I think K27 get caught off guard by the fact that Dame has an A1S on ramp. And then when K27 go down towards secrets, they get lucky because Texi thinks he has to make a play despite him playing with his teammate. If Texi had just stayed still at their ramp and they maintained the crossfire that they were in, even if K27 hadn't walked into them, they could at least play more cohesively and in the 4v4 instead of giving away the advantage, giving away the map control, and ultimately maybe even just throwing away their map pick. This has felt like a super close game, and yet we situate ourselves with K27 having a 5-round lead up against a force, like a kind of half buy, low buy, with a lot of investment from Nemesis. So I don't know if there's going to be an AWP in the next round, Majiki. And I think, unfortunately, this series might not actually be as much of a burn buster as I expected.
Well, it certainly does appear to be the case as we kick off this next round with just as much pressure all across the map as we have been seeing. It has been quite a recurring theme. And already those opening kills have come through and, well, blink and you miss it. The bomb is already being planted and Nemesis more than likely just going for that early save. It was, you know, we actually saw this in the previous half as well. K27 did something different, right? You kind of leave one player, see what they can get. If anything, if they get overrun, everybody else just go next. Or not go next? No, okay, we keep going this one.
Yeah, Celta has a kit. He's got maybe space. No. I mean, the only people that worth saving is Celta and now Texi. Resalt could pick up a primary rifle, but that's not going to be the case. Xedo should go down with the bomb. So does Cashlid after Texi gets that kill. So 2 AK saved over. It's not the worst case scenario for Nemesis, but what is the fact they're down by 6. They do have a purchase. Is there going to be an AWP out now? Because I think Celta can drop it Yeah, there is, and very lucky there is.
Ooh, all right, we're getting into some very dangerous territory here, and it's quite interesting when you consider how dominantly Nemesis started that first half, and now on the CT side, really struggling to get a foot in, and okay, there's been some economic choices that have led them to only now having a full and robust buy, and with only 2 rounds of room to play with. Ooh, some good damage done in onto Quinky. Oh! To Dame. Oh, the collateral to follow it up. Majiki, just absolutely unreal. Steps up to the plate. Relaxi's left all alone now. Ooh, caught in a reload. Oh, we're talking about impactful reloads. That's left Relaxi now with not much to be done as he does get shot out. But what a round from Majiki.
Yeah, really, really, really important round. And already you can see the influence that the AWP is having on this CT side that Cashlid didn't have whatsoever. He's had such a sleeper game, and I'm surprised that K27 were able to get away with an 8-4 half on their defense without their AWP ever really being online. So Majiki coming online now is 100% like one of 2 main win factors that Nemesis need. The other's got to be Texi, but so far on their potential comeback, a miracle comeback, it's off to a good start.
Giving themselves a little bit of a handicap. There's some cope for some of the fans. Interestingly, a slightly slower round than some that we've seen up to this point.
Which is very similar to what Nemesis did at the beginning of their T side. The exact same set of utility, and in the first gun round, it was the fake going down B, and they exploded onto the A bomb site. That's exactly what K27 are going to do. They've got site mollo, top hut mollo, and that could be dangerous for Texi, so he needs to make sure that Result has got him covered. Oh, Celta's rotated in though. Really good rotation from Celta towards Heaven. He needs to be here ready to support his teammates.
Alright, here we go. Util starts to pop through. That's going to give the game away ever so slightly. They've managed to push themselves off of those more telegraphed positions. We do get some trades coming out here, but the flashes are making things very, very difficult for Nemesis. Forces them to have to back away ever so slightly. Oh, Celta a little bit chaotic on that swing and gets caught out. And now with only 2 players remaining, this exec was performed to perfection. Just constantly shutting down all of those sight lines. And as much as there's a little bit of a battle back here, I don't see another way back into this one. The Tech 9 that gets that second to last kill. Nice little no-scope there, but that's all she wrote. K27, what a bounce back to put them on map point.
What an execute as well. Like it's a carpet of fire on that A bomb site, but the reason why it works so well is because those mollos are supposed to put Nemesis out of position. For instance, Texi playing close towards Hut on the floor in a very vulnerable area. Everyone gets blinded. And it's because they're not allowed to play where they would want to normally in cover, as the Molotovs were second vent, top hut, and a floor. And it also affects Celta, so it's just a perfect execute and a great example of why sometimes you don't need to be buying all 5 AKs, just get the Tech 9s, get the utility, pop out, and it's just a perfect execute and a gimmick to get K27 onto map points.
Alright, Nemesis looking for a little bit of perfection here. Ooh, the return fire catches his counterpart, peeks for a second, and just wins it. Instant 2-player advantage in the blink of an eye from a very aggressive AWP position. Nemesis not taking that one lying down, really spreading themselves out here, trying to take this map control. Unfortunately, Celta gets caught out. Oh my god, Magicy. Not only aggressive, dynamic, on for the ace now, as he's already managed to pick up 4. Quinky.
He's running for it.
he really wants it, man. Pistol in hand, looking to try and connect it. Taking a bit of damage, and it gets snatched away. Well, whatever. Point being, they've given themselves another round.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 CT rounds have been won out because of Majiki, and not even necessarily because his team sets him up. It's just the dynamism. Think about where he succeeded last time. It was playing second towards ramp. This time it was getting aggressive towards door, and then rotating towards secret. Like, he is non-stop moving, and it's just not what Cashlid was doing in that first half. So it's a little bit crazy, though, that Nemesis, they've got the AWPer turning up and just solo winning rounds like this again. A third variation to his dynamism. Surely they can at least claw back some rounds when the AWPer's playing like this.
And this will be a real statement round for Nemesis as well. Money very much on the brink now for K27. So the potential for that snowball very much alive. First kill gives them a bit of room to work with. Bomb hasn't moved just yet, though. And again, Nemesis, relatively exploratory. Trying to find any semblance of information. Zidane has gone down, but that's okay. Texi trades it back.
Bomb.
Result has to have heard that, and so he has, but... Sanic, man, is just absolutely on fire, hightailing it down. They want to get towards this B bomb site, but Texi is here, ready and waiting. The double swing comes out. He's trying to isolate as far as he can. Somehow sprays down for 2, and only losing 1 player. It's yet 1 more round in the back pocket.
Yeah, it's just a really good start and then finish on top of it. Majiki gets another opening kill. Texi is just in the right position multiple times in this round. I don't really know if Nemesis have it in them to force this to overtime, but they're definitely giving K27 a run for their money in the latter stages of this half, and I think that's the issue. It's the latter stages. They were just too slow to start, and it's allowed K27 to get this big lead. It's 6 rounds to close it out. Now it's 4, and it's about to be 3, as this anti-eco is being farmed up, and it's being farmed up very tidily. It's another multi-frag from Texi, another opening kill from Majiki. I don't know if it's copium, but damn, Nemesis are playing well, but just in the back of my head, I'm like, I still really feel like this gets closed out in reg.
I mean, again, you know, as I was kind of mentioning a little bit earlier on, and you mentioned it as well, right? Some weird economic choices that left them stagnating for a while, trying to pick up rounds and just not quite making it happen. And then, you know, you get into that actual proper buy and things start to look a whole hell of a lot better. Maybe leaning a bit more into the CT-sided nature of the map, thinking, okay, well, we can get a little bit silly with it, and there's that kind of padding, I suppose. It's brave, and I don't profess to know that is what was going on in their minds. It's purely conjecture, but yeah, we're still on that map point, and we've been here for some time. K27 now having taken a time out, because if they lose this round, we are very much looking on for overtime. Let's see how we kick this one off. Who gets that all-important opener? Springboard the rest of the round. Again, it's going to be that outside play. Smokes down, denying all those sightlines. Celta hasn't managed to spot anyone. No information garnered. Oh god, they're walking straight into Majiki. Oh dear me, that first shot, it sings, and a slight reposition. Molotov to buy some time. How brave are we feeling, K27? Oh, Majiki, he just knows! And he tries to go for a third. A triple dip gets denied, but he's done more than his fair share. 1 for 2. They have started to make their way on to the bomb site. A trade up above isn't going to make the biggest difference now. They still haven't gone for the plant yet. The rotations have come in too quickly. They know that it's not safe. They may even opt to pivot away here entirely. Ooh. Oh, it's a Gev with the AWP here. Had a good showing in the first half with the rifle in hand. Unfortunate. Misses that shot. Now they know that he's there and holding on to it. So they wait for the pivot. The pivot has happened. Celta's on site. Here's the footsteps. Here's the pink elephants on parade. Shuts down the bomb planter. And HE over the top. Swings through. Final kill lands. Nemesis hit double digits.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I also wouldn't want my AWPer using the AWP in a 2v3. An interesting decision for Zagev to be holding on to it there, but just another great round from Majiki. He is putting on a masterclass with the big green on this CT side. And I said coming into this, I feel like I rate Cashlid over Majiki, and that's a big difference maker for K27. Whoa, I have been shown that I am wrong. Majiki, it is 3 times as good as he is and was on the CT side, and I don't feel like he's going to be stopping. On the rifle this round though, could have been dropped a AWP. Surprised one didn't get saved, but maybe it's because they're up against the Tech 9s and he prefers to play with the rifle and then can just buy the AWP in the final round if they get there. In the meantime though, K27 outside smokes, a lot of them, and they're going to be heading towards ramp where Sedain has spotted all of them.
Ooh, gets dinked, so has to play that a little bit more
There's
safe.
no
But Majiki is there to hold the line, create a little bit of a crossfire here. They're going to try to overrun him, but whether it's an AWP or a rifle, he's always good for at least one. Unfortunately, Sedain's been run over, so guns have been recovered. And we bring ourselves to a 3 versus 3. But 2 of our Ts now have rifles. Result in such a good spot here, but gets caught out. What an angle. There's at least a trade-off. 2 versus 2. Celta, they know that he's here. Oh, Celta's swings have been absolutely devastating, and Texi follows it up with the final. 1 round away from overtime. I love Tech 9s, man. Oh.
That was scary. Especially when they isolated Majiki and Hell, I was like, damn, I think they've got it. 3v. Maybe if they didn't lose 2, but regardless, Majiki back on the AWP for the final round. K27, 12-6, now 12-11. Nemesis, they're going to do the hardest thing though. The final round. The final nail in the coffin to force us to overtime. Remember, this is Nemesis's map pick. We still got to go on to Dust 2, K27's home turf. And in the final round, Relaxy, he's just on the A bomb sites. Okay. I don't know how he's got there entirely, but he falls, and it's a very early advantage for Nemesis.
Holding on to all of that money allowed them to buy both an extra AWP and a rifle. So I was watching Sedain kind of swapping between the two there. So he can hold the AWP here on the ramp position and swap off if he needs to. So they really went for like contingency plays in their planning for this round. They've already managed to find that opening kill. Relaxi unfortunately caught with his pants down out in the open. That's going to leave K27 in a scramble to recover. Gone at a little bit of positioning and outside, but still a bit nervous to actually push on towards the A-bomb site. Now utility starts to come through. They've cleared out the main entryways. They still have to clear the silos, and so they do for the most part. Result's still here. Reinforcements have arrived, and hand in hand, the crossfires rain down, and we are going to overtime.
A big step up in that second half for Majiki, for Texi, and it's no coincidence that when those two players rise up to the plate, that Nemesis start chaining rounds together. 12-12, a fumble for K27. They had this map, and I think then ultimately this series in the palm of their hands, but they have to be able to reset now in overtime. And this T side, I can imagine it being very difficult, because realistically the only time they succeeded was pistol, anti-force buy. They struggled on the rifle rounds. And K27 instantly looking like they just want to try and pop out on the A bomb site, keep the pressure alive.
Ooh. Eyes always on Majiki to see what shenanigans he may get up to this time. Relaxi, again, just caught a little bit too far ahead of the rest of the team and does get punished for it, unfortunately. No follow-up possible here. And two of his teammates have also been chunked down to a very unfavorable kilter. That's going to force K27 to have to hit the brakes a little bit here. Reassess. Start pivoting towards ramp instead. Zagev has actually caught one towards outside. That might give Nemesis pause. Not just because they've lost a player, but because they're now uncertain. And the ramp push has pivoted away. And has instead opted to come back towards A. Majiki caught staring in the wrong direction, but Texi in just the right spot to keep things even. Or as even as they can be. 2 versus 2. Health is a bit of a problem here. Oh my god, Texi, how have you gone and done that? And Zagev's been left all alone now. Doesn't have the bomb. Doesn't really have too much time to work with here. But he's brought it to a 1v1. Oh my god. Has an inkling. HE over the top. Doesn't force a swing and obviously doesn't get the kill because HP is too high. Down to that devastating 10-second mark. Slips straight down the vent. Is he going to have enough time?
Should.
Is there a world? He's popped down. Yes, he does. Bomb is going to get planted. The absolute audacity. If K27 somehow managed to pull this one out of the hat. Zidane pushing now. Steps heard. Tap on the bomb. Waiting to see if Zagev is brave enough, and the HP was so devastatingly low, it was gonna take a miracle, but it is denied. Nemesis stabilize and find the first in OT.
Ooh, that got very close, especially considering that this was a round that K27 failed from the word go. Like, they wanted to go for a set play towards the A bomb site, but they get interrupted by well-placed spam towards door, and then also just missed utility. Like, they were throwing molos into their own smokes. The timings were not right on the executes. And yeah, in general, a very messy round that I can't quite believe goes down that close. So Nemesis in the lead for the first time, and it feels like forever. What? Okay, Xido somehow wins that duel on Celta, despite there being not even a second smoke, and this is pandemonium on the server. It's just red hot. Everyone's pressing W, but it feels like Nemesis, their defense should be holding sturdy, and their trades and the individual prowess of Sadame is showing.
Yeah, I think it's the first time because we went to the half at 7-5 and they didn't take a lead until the previous round. So it was a hot minute.
8-4 half.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're right. 7-5. I had in my head it was 8-4 the whole game. Lol.
Close enough. You know.
Yeah, they were only in the lead. They were 3-2 up, 4-3 up, and then 4-4, and then from that point onwards, K27.
Well, the streak has been a hot one. This is going to be, I feel like, a pretty important round for K27, because obviously then they get to swap onto their CT side of overtime, and I don't know how much I want to read into that when we're in overtime, but I think when you're in this position, you want to grasp onto whatever lifeline you can possibly find. So around here would certainly make them feel that little bit more comfortable.
I still just can't believe Cashlet is struggling as much as he is. A very poor performance for him. He's been outclassed by Majiki, and another set round swindled by spam through the smoke. This time, Quinky will get a trade, but Nemesis, the position they're in, they are more than ready to handle this. Look at X5, though, in heaven. Might have the jump, but Majiki, oh Misses the shot, and now everything gets turned on his head. So Dame, oh my god, that's not gonna work. You can't shoot on ladders, and Result, even if he gets one here, I think that's actually considered a success. This is tumultuous. A 4v3 in favor of Nemesis comes down to a 2v2 with K27 bombed down on the A bomb sites.
This has been pure chaos. Let's see if it can somehow be recoverable for Nemesis here. So Dame spotted the first one. Not entirely sure where the second is, and waiting for Texi to get into a position. Nope, not waiting, in fact. Swinging. Texi does not have the time to get into position, and now both sets of eyes train on him in heaven, and that is that round. K27 do manage to pull it under their belts. And this is where I start to think maybe they have a way back into this. I say back in, they're not out, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is that Majiki has just been so good this CT side. Like, he's been hitting belters. And then that. It's a very simple shot where he had the read, but it's unfortunately not a simple miss. It's a devastating miss, as Result just gets put between a rock and a hard place. If Sadame had maybe taken his time and actually just wrapped heaven, he could have maybe... no, actually, to be honest, I don't really know. I feel like there's nothing he could have done there. Tries to help Results and then can't. But K27, they get a singular round on the T side. They only got 7 rounds in regulation on their defense. And a big part of that was just the fact that the superstars were never stepping up. Like, you think about Exido just not doing his job outside, or Cashlid on the AWP, 9 kills still. Like, I think he maybe got a AWP kill or 2 on the defense. It's a far cry from what Majiki was performing. We just forget about that final round. I still kind of feel like Nemesis are in the driving seat here, not only because of how they played in the first half, but just because the momentum. That is... It was 12-6 in favor of K27. It's now 14-3 in favor of Nemesis. It's a complete upheaval of things. And it looks like this series could just be going the absolute distance if Mr. Nem can close out their map pick.
What a time for a tech pause as well. Goodness me. You talk about like momentum, and I think both teams, you can really like see that finish line, and the pressure starts to build, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong and everyone just has to chill. I'm very curious to see if that's affected much, or I imagine everyone's still very locked in, but it does break that tension ever so slightly. So let's dive straight back into it. Just a couple rounds remaining, you know, unless we go into a second overtime. Stranger things have happened.
This is so aggressive. Cashlid, I rate the fact that he has been trailing. First round of overtime, aggressive close outside with the AWP. It's not going to get spotted, and unfortunately it's not going to actually find anything, as Nemesis went for their own kind of microaggression of boosting behind this box. But no one finds anything, and we reset with Nemesis throwing outside smokes, but the bomb staying around lobby, and no one... Oh, no, Texi and Result, they are going to be taking that space, but I don't think they're going down secret.
Nope, and that is certainly no secret. Start making their way in on towards the site here, and, well, it's been pretty locked down. Majiki steps up, Result brings it back as well, so we get the 2 for 2. And all the space that it looked like they'd garnered, in fact, not to be the case. Hasn't actually
they know where both players are.
Yet. That they do. Almost feels like Result is daring him to swing at this point. And X5 is in a good spot here. Finds the AWPer, so brings it to a more even scenario. Unfortunately, Quinky gets caught out up on high. And that leaves X5 alone to pick up the pieces to try and get these last couple of kills. He's got a kit as well. He can find a way to isolate these duels, but he's got to identify where the two players are. He's got an inkling. Ugh! Not quite. A little bit of a cosmetic check there, and does end up getting punished for it. Nemesis find their first in this second half of OT, and one step closer to winning their map pick.
What a comeback. What a crazy comeback. Classic Nemesis. This is just the most normal Nemesis game because it makes no sense, and I love it. I'm here for it. T side, Majiki, aggressive last round outside. This round trying to get a pick towards main, but he gets mollowed out and is going to now reset into trying to pick towards Hut. But unfortunately, he gets met by a grenade. Outside smokes once again thrown out. Texi just denying any information. Celta throws a second set to replenish and allow Texi to drop. Cashlid's got no nade. I think he's already used it. So Texi is just going to get down for free. It forces X5 to drop. And it makes A that little bit weaker. Where it looks like the hit is where it's going to come. And then Texi can just play late and sell this fake even more than he already has.
Yeah, X5 getting mollowed out there as well. Like, it's so difficult to get a good read on what's actually happening. So that now they have to burn that little bit more util because they don't actually know what's going on. And it's slowly chipping away at the last vestiges of resources that they had available to them. Still quite a few flashes remain here. One comes out. Not going to be followed up on. And now the exec util starts to come through. Xido tucked into the corner gets the first before being traded. But that has actually stopped the push. Just that one kill has given some slight pause. Meanwhile, Bomb slipped down vent, moves down towards that B bomb site. Oh, but Cashlid, what a beautiful reposition there. Perfectly places himself. The bomb has been lost. And Nemesis, oh, it feels like maybe they've dropped the ball a little bit with this one. The time ticks down, and K27 close that gap.
Yeah. Bit of an overcook, I think. Not too sure about this round. I mean, Xido gets crazy movement on the A bomb site, gets mollowed off, jumps down Tetras into the door smoke, is able to get a kill because of it. They just don't expect him to be there. Nemesis, they'll have to be taking their one and only timeout in overtime. They still have the lead. They still have map points, but it could fall through their fingers as quickly as they possessed it. But a round that I don't feel like Nemesis... I don't feel like it was a round that K27 won. It was a round that Nemesis lost. And they overcooked it massively after having a really lovely default. If they just committed A, they probably win that round. So Dame, that is a really lovely insta-smoke that has missed.
Oh, unfortunate.
Oh,
that's okay, with all the other utility that's
there?
flying out here. I mean, I think it surely it's meant to block off that person behind the vent. Anyway, who cares? He follows it up with a kill, and Celta will double down on that. And blink and you miss it. Only 2 players remain for K27. This could be it, folks. This could be the end of the line. 2 versus 4 for all the marbles, but Xido has something to say about it. Realizing that everything is on the line here. And, well, from a 2v4 to a 1v2, how the turns table, Jiki has been phenomenal so far this evening.
Clear
Not the first. The trigger discipline is huge. He knows where both of them are. He misses all the shots. Oh, that's devastating. Absolute heartbreak. But K27 rejoice as we go into double overtime.
Oh, it's the Majiki close out the map curse. In regulation, he missed a pretty simple AWP shot. And because of that, we came into regulation. In the first overtime, a difficult 1v2, but one he lined up perfectly, but just when it came to pulling the trigger, everything went awry. Unfortunately, not ice in the veins for Majiki, and despite him doing God's work up until this stage, he's cooled off a little bit, and he needs to get those jets roaring again, because K27... a big sigh of relief as they are able to hit the reset button themselves for the first time and maybe take control of this game. Cashless still, though, immensely struggling. We're 30 rounds deep and he's only got 10 kills. He needs to step up. And so far, outside, they have just always got the better of him.
Alright, hit the accelerator. We trade, we go 1 for 1. They've now managed to pull all the space in outside and they've pivoted in towards 8. Jesus, Relaxy. Okay, I don't know how he gets 2 there. That's outrageous. And once again, what was looking like a doable situation, K27 have smacked back in a very overpowering manner to bring themselves a lead for the first time in a minute. Not quite as long of a minute as it was for Nemesis, but, you know.
I think it's a big change in how we view this game now. To me, it was just, okay, when are Nemesis going to close it out in this first overtime? Now it's back to where we were when we were 12-6 of, I think K27 have got themselves back with a strong foothold. And it's because of the rifling core of Relaxy, X5, and Nixido. Cashler is not even needed. It's worrisome. But hey, if it works, it works. And definitely, I think the so Texi and Majiki, if I'm not mistaken, they both had 21 kills apiece going into overtime. And they did so well to get Nemesis there, but then maybe cooled their jets a little bit too early and lost some steam. 16-15, another tech pause. It's been a very long map of Counter-Strike, mostly because of the tech pauses.
It do be like that sometimes. But we're back in action. Let's get this second bout of overtime back underway. I'm very curious to see if we're going to see that cheeky double AWP again, but I think the way things are going now might be just a little bit of an overstretch. Now we'll keep things as standard as you like. Quick play through outside, down secret. Xido now has to hold the line and hold it. He does. Damn. First shot rings out. But Sadam's actually managed to find himself a pathing and has pulled the attention of Xido away. And this has left him in a really tight spot. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Goes for the rock and the rock turns out to be a boulder. Relaxy trying to keep things even. Let's press the barrel of the AWP and there we go. Finally gets one. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on this one. It's an important round to keep that momentum going. Quinky with the reposition. Oh my god, they don't even check for him. They don't even look. They have no idea. And he shuts down both. And K27 finds 17.
Okay, impact frags from Cashlid. He gets that 1 kill and it just perfectly baits in Quinky, who's at a perfect maneuver. He's walked all the way around into a prime position. And finally, the AWP comes alive. Nemesis, they are just struggling. And they're up against their arch nemesis of K27, who now coming on to the 8th time, the 8th encounter, and they've never bested them. Only 3 times in the previous 7 have they forced a 3rd map. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like there is going to be a 3rd map in this series. just because of how it's going on Nuke. And with K27 then going on to their map pick of Dust 2, one, they've been prone to success, and they will have loads of momentum, with also Nemesis putting a lot of energy into this comeback, and it all just resulting in squats. This is a very disappointing map for Nemesis, as they had it, but now it's all fallen away from them.
And there's still another map waiting in the wings. So we look to see what the reset potentially will look like, depending on, of course, who does walk away with this one. Because it ain't over yet. There's always a possibility. Oh, this aggression. Oh, X5. Oh, my hat.
Spotted.
Yes, he was. Just on the edge of the smoke there. Majiki shuts him down. That control is taken away. But, I mean, he did garner a little bit of info there, so he can calm that back. The rest of the team can start to reinforce the site. Oh, but it's just absolute devastation as each of these battles gets isolated out. And Nemesis finally find one in the dying embers of that round, or that set of overtime. We go again.
They love their main raps, do Nemesis. And I can't say it's been fruitful for them in the overtimes. Finally, it works out. Largely in part because the door player dies first. But we digress.
I'll do it. Yeah.
16-17. City side is where the boys in purple mounted their epic comeback. 6 rounds in a row. I think 7 it was technically when you got into overtime. So if they want to prove themselves once more, this would be the time. All 3, and they still can close this one out. 18 to secure a 3rd overtime. And right now, K27, they've got Xido and X5 down towards Secret, but Majiki is here, ready and waiting. The flashbang, he'll dodge it, but unfortunately misses the shot. That Molotov, they are going to respect though. And in the meantime, their teammates are walking out ramp. Oh, Majiki, he's walked into their trap. He's been read like a textbook. They place that Molotov at his feet, and now Sedame, he's nowhere to go. He has to just stay and fight, and unfortunately, one might not be good enough.
It's outrageous to me that Majiki gets one, even under all of that pressure, but let's see if that will be enough to keep the tide going. EV3 with bomb planted. Quite separated from one another, but we have a bit of a pincer potential here. Salter tosses out the HE, that gives over his position. Cashlet is pretty up close and personal in this smoke. Salter's done well to just kind of skirt around the outside of it, but time is certainly of the essence now. They have no idea. They think they've threaded the needle, but no, they haven't. And K27 have done it again. They've bought themselves just enough time to ensure that the round goes their way.
Well, they've already swindled 6 map points. They're going to have a 7th and an 8th at their disposal. And it's K27 just winning out those original 2 entries. Despite it being in a 3v3, that B bomb site is very difficult to retake. Maybe this is when Nemesis play the best, when their backs are against the wall. And they've got to fight for every inch. Majiki once again going to be getting aggressive, this time in towards Secret. Cashlid was kind of holding for him, but I think checked the wrong way at the worst time. So Majiki right now is going to be able to calm that. No one is Secret for the time being, but with a second set of smokes down, he's going to be farming up. Xido just walks into his crosshair, but now Majiki is kind of in a difficult position. Needs support, or that works too.
Yep. Hightail it out of there. Result holding from the elevated position on the A site. X5 not quite sure what hit him in that scenario as K27 start to capitulate once again. Both of these teams really do struggle to just get over that final hurdle. As Nemesis now start to catch up, close the gap ever so slightly. I think the barrel of the gun was spotted there. Ashley, are you aware? Celta's right above you. If you stay scoped in here, you could be not much longer for this world. But he's done it. He's wrapped. He's down below. Who's gonna spot the other first?
Good
there you
evening.
go. Celta, very aware of it. And now Relaxy's all alone. And, well, without the bomb in his hands, this seems pretty dunzos.
Yeah, I think it does get Texie fully blind, but hey-ho.
There you go.
A 7th map point thrown the wayside, and once again, just gotta give props to Majiki. It's not even necessarily the fact that, like, he's getting the kills. Like, it's very easy to be like, oh, Majiki more kills than Cashlid. But it's just it's how he's getting the kills. I feel like every round he's somewhere different, getting aggressive, getting in the face of K27, ruining their default, and obtaining an opening kill that he's only doing because of his positioning. Cashlid never had that, never did that in any of the overtimes. Maybe like one overtime I saw him get aggressive outside, and then he just fell back. Didn't even get a kill because of the smokes. Like, he was scared, he was overstaying his welcome. Majiki is not scared. And this time around, again, down towards Secret. Outside smokes being thrown, and unfortunately Majiki might want to get a move on because I don't think anyone's going to be coming towards him.
Celta's been pushed back, actually opting to regroup on the A site. So leaving Majiki alone here. Kind of. There's a bit of a crossfire setup if they do opt to try and push through, but with all the smokes in the way. Tough to tell. Again, we're going for a little bit of an information starve scenario as K27 haven't made much noise. Reminder, we're still sitting on map point here. But if they lose this round, we go into a third overtime. So looking to keep this as clean and clinical as they possibly can.
What's the end goal here?
Fake, I guess. I think we're angling for ramp, and that was just not the call to make. They don't know Majiki's holding here, but now they do. They forced him off of his position, and they're getting a little bit messy with it, and unfortunately have lost a lot of their reinforcements on the way in. Now X5 has been left almost alone and will fall. So will the bomb. And Xedo, with 15 seconds left, there is no world, so overtime 3. Here we go.
Oh. Rasol and Texi make the right move of just evacuating. 18-18. That is 8 map points that K27 have had, and they have not won a single one. A very poor round from K27. Just going, well, I guess we have to go ramp. And you know it's bad when at 30 seconds, knife out, you're just jumping around ramp, hoping to maybe catch someone off guard after you've thrown utility towards A, but then show nothing on the back of it. I mean, Majiki does unscope, and his teammate on ramp does actually move away, but Majiki's just been so good that he just quick scopes the first guy anyway. And then with the setup down towards B, Nemesis, they overpower K27, and, well, I think now the textbook has been thrown out the window more than it already has been, and maybe Xedo needs to pick back up the textbook because he's just walked in front of garage. There's no second smoke outside. It's so messy. Quinky's just taking Jules towards ramp, trades out his teammate, but it's still a 4v3 in favor of the CT side.
Bomb is going to get planted. Alright, how do Nemesis approach this one? As you said, the strat book's been thrown out the window. From our perspective, we don't actually know. It looks like it's going to be a full push down towards ramp. That's not going to set up too many possibilities for crossfires, but it is the quickest rotation in, so it's risky, but it might just pay off. Utility starts to flash or flood through, but Relaxy hasn't been caught by it at all. X5 gets swung on. Relaxy has the opportunity now to activate, but now they know where he is. They've gotten onto the bomb. Are they going to have enough time? Oh my god, they got off.
No, it's going to be not enough time.
Well,
if only someone had stuck the bomb. Why couldn't K27 do that in one of the last 2 rounds? But also, it's a little bit alarming that this is a 5v4, a 4v3, a 4v2, and then a 1v3. Too slow on the retake are Nemesis. They get beaten by the clock. They do everything right that round, but defuse the bomb in time. I feel like K27 have gotten away with murder there, and those are the types of mistakes that are going to arise when we're this deep into a game. Round 38 is upon us, and Majiki, he don't care. He keep on peeking anything.
Alright, I've seen this movie before. Ooh, Sedame. That's a little unreasonable. Alright. And very quickly, 3 kills go the way of the CTs. And again, leaves K27 somewhat scrambling. With still over a minute left. I mean, realistically, what does the conversation look like at this point? You know, you're 2v5, you've garnered no space whatsoever, you've got full belts of utility available, you're in overtime, so saving is like a non-conversation, so like, I guess we just swing into outside, and Celta is ready for it, and well, there you go, the last pin falls, and we're once again, even Stevens.
Well, I mean, this should be 2018, realistically. Why is there an MP7 on the ground? What are we doing? Magic Key is like, well, actually, I'm going to peek hut with it. Where's Magic Key going this round? Spin the wheel. It's crazy because he's changing position pretty much every round, and he's also just making the right call. I really rate it. Like, I've definitely seen him play better more times than I've seen him play worse, but I can't say that I've seen him play this well. I know it's only 29 to 24, but it's even that round, like, he gets a perfect flash assist on Sedame, just sets his teammate up for a damn kill. It's low hanging fruit. And it's just, it's like 29 to 24, but he's had every single round when he gets a kill, it's impact. So, I don't know, it just feels like that is not doing him justice, and this time he's getting aggressive towards ramp. Similar to the previous round, wasn't spotted last round. Him and Sedame, they're actually going for a similar play they did in the previous, but Sedame's made a lot of noise. The players in lobby for K27 should know this, and no one's looking. Okay, that's a freebie, and Majiki is just holding the line. It's perfect. It's textbook Counter-Strike, to be honest, from Nemesis. But it's just so head-scratchy for K27 that they're going for an A execute and no one ever holds towards ramp.
Oof. Oh, I do love a good crunch. We've seen attempts of this over the course of this map. And, you know, some attempts do tend to work out better than others, but this was a particularly good one. Nemesis will now be back in that driving seat. Round and round we go. Where we stop, no one seems to really know. Alright, Freddy, bold prediction. Do we close it out in this round of or in this half of OT, or are we going for?
Yeah. Let's just keep on having some fun. I had 6 OTs the other day, which I think is my record for CS2.
Damn.
So why not? But this, like, it's fun Counter-Strike. That 6 overtime was like, yes. I want to shoot myself Counter-Strike. So this is making, like, I'm happy. This is cool. I honestly, I think the issue has just been the teams are like massively choking when it comes to hitting the important rounds.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the main reason why it's like Nemesis didn't close it out. K27 didn't close it out. It's like it's like they want to try finish it too quickly when they hit the magic numbers. And well, K27 going to take a leaf out of Nemesis' book. A main split. Oh, no, sorry. The sides are flipped. Okay. Head gone. But same for Exido. I feel like K27 should have maybe expected this a little bit more because of how many main splits they were doing in every single overtime and regulation. This one, though, despite getting the opening kills, they've been stunted. And the AWPers are going to come head-to-head outside, but Magiki, when he comes around the corner, he changes his angle. And Cashlid, that's the first time I feel like I've seen him get impact this game.
Yeah. To win out against Magiki is nothing to turn your nose up at, but it's down to a 1v2. Sedame, getting that first one, can't follow it up for the second, and somehow, despite the odds, K27 just keep that tide ticking over, 20-20. That's kind of crazy that they managed to bring it back in that round in particular.
That was cool, though. That was a really cool 1v2 being played out, and it's so unfortunate that the AWP is also just on the line. Like, that was a beautiful round from Sedame, who's having an equally beautiful game. That was almost really cool from Texi, but unfortunately fumbles the movement. And they're going for another main split. Finally, Exido is prepped and aware for it. Magic Key gets legged? Okay. So it's a 4v4 with 2 low players on either side. Nemesis have full outside control and a gap has opened. Sedame, he pounces, ramp open, and he's already looking to backstab the A bomb site because he's heard the player drop off heaven. But he needs to be careful he doesn't get backstabbed himself from Quinky, who's come back up vent. Sorry, the ramp.
Oh my god. We're back to some very, very chaotic stylistic choices being made. Sedame,
Wait.
you know that he's here. Does anyone know that anyone is here? Oh my god. Who's gonna spot first? Oh, Sedame does actually manage to win that one out. And there you go. There's the advantage that they were looking for. They haven't managed to really garner any space, and this could be the potential problem here. Wherever they go, they could run into a Nemesis player, so I have to be very careful about this one. They make the right choice, group up together, they can move as a more cohesive unit, death ball their way in. Down to 20 seconds, and yes, noise made, so don't have a lot of time now to actually make that call to hit that acceleration button. And Xido is ready and waiting, watching up on heaven, sprays down for 2, dies in the flames, but Relaxi is here just below heaven, and Celta, 7 seconds remaining, gets 1 kill. Is there going to be enough time to plant? Oh, there's no time. Takes too long, and X5, well, he knew there was no time, nothing to be done, and K27 somehow buy themselves a 21st.
I don't know, I was looking at the fact that Magic Key had 2 flashes, and I was thinking, why not just make a move? Just get on the horse, like 45 seconds, they should have been in heaven way sooner. Magic Key could just throw 2 flashes to the A-bomb site, they pop out. Everyone go heaven. But instead, they overcomplicate it. Magic Key whiffs his movement of all things, jumping up towards heaven. It's a monumental fumble, and Sedame has got that crazy timing towards ramp for nothing. Xido stepping up like he should. A massive double kill to put, once again, K27 on map point. First to 22. This will be their 9th map point, ladies and gentlemen. Or do we go to a 4th overtime?
Good grief. Yeah, I always used to talk about the let's get it done syndrome. I don't think I've ever seen a case of it quite so intense as we're seeing in this particular matchup. But here we go already. Oh my god, 2 AWPs in play. Cashlid has been brought dangerously low, but it's Xido to get the first opener here. Maybe this is exactly what they need to bring themselves into a winnable scenario. Nemesis have already slipped down secret and heading towards a completely empty B bomb site. So this is going to have to be full-on retake situation. Nemesis low and slow here. They don't know what's waiting for them around this corner, around any of these corners. As they creep their way down, K27 not being too exploratory. In fact, they threw down quite a few smokes to potentially slow things down, which has starved themselves of any real info. So We send Quinky down below to see if he can spot anything out. Waiting for any semblance, a sound, and there it is. As the glass shatters, he realizes this is going to be where that exec is happening. Util flies from every direction, but they're playing off site. Nothing can hit them. Well, I guess Magic Key can. Quinky loses out in that battle. 3 versus 3 now. Bomb will get planted, but Cashlid catches Sadame on the rotation across. And now here, the retake scenario that I spoke of. These final 2 players from Nemesis desperately holding on to the last vestiges of this round. Slowly but surely, K27 will start to make their way in. No information now, so a little bit of noise made. God, Magic Key. It's actually unreasonable how good he is with an AWP. Relaxy has been left all alone. He catches onto the first, taps onto the bomb, he's sticking it, he's holding it, the swing comes through, and oh my god. Overtime number 4.
I will repeat what I said many, many moons ago. The most normal Nemesis game to ever be played. K27, however, an opening kill, the 9th opportunity to close out a map, and they squander once again a crucial opportunity. 21-21, quadruple overtime, first to 25, and if I said the textbook had been thrown out the window in the previous overtime, well, there's like a second window, it's like through a door maybe. It is just freestyle Counter-Strike at this point, and especially with these players on the server, surely some crazy gimmicks and just solo aggressive plays are something you can expect.
This shows no sign of ending. We, we could be here a while. Strap in, folks. Get comfortable. Make sure you've got some snacks. Cedo's found an opener. I think he's forced off of position again, but still managing to get his before he's forced all the way back. The Nemesis now need to try to stabilize. S squared can get a little bit of damage done here. Might just allow them enough time to get that bomb planted, and so it shall. Ooh, Relaxy. Firing into the door there, so now they know that you're there. They can keep eyes trained on that. Ooh, setting up a potential crossfire here, but the sound of the glass is going to leave them a little bit paranoid. Now they've got to keep their attention.
Ooh, that's a
very
big nade.
split. Oh, that HE. Oh, that's so unfortunate. And Celta has to somehow hold the line all by his lonesome, and as they swing around the corner, 3 players, Jack in the Box, out of nowhere, and it's another round for K27.
They make no mistake in clearing Celta there. They throw 0 caution to the wind, and once again, Hayes' law coming in action. The team who forces it to overtime shall not win the first round. We've seen that a few times so far in our numerous overtimes. A very dominant round at that for K27, and a very methodical retake. They take back the lead for the 1,000,000,000th time. And it's another good round from Cedo, who is really trying his damnedest. Another fast play, though, towards ramp for Nemesis. This time, it's just really quick. I don't know if we've necessarily seen them take map control like this as quickly as they have. And the response, probably the reason why they've done that, is because they know Quinky's been dropping towards ramp very early. And that's why Sadame got that control he did in the final round of that 3rd overtime, which ended up actually all being in vain.
Just noticed the Zeus. Sorry, that has no consequence on anything, but
I've seen a few Zeus's brought up in these overtimes.
I really hadn't. I hadn't been paying that much attention, admittedly, which is odd for me. I do enjoy a good Zeus. But always interesting to see it on the T side as well. Let's see if there's an opportunity for it. Smoke clears. Cedo is able to get his. Backs away. Relaxy. Man, just holding it down. Finally, a double swing, which will allow them to get the kill onto Cedo. But X5 and Relaxy are still on the site and still doing the most. Celta left in a 1v3. And it feels like maybe K27 have unlocked the code up to 23 now. But this has happened a few times in the first round of OT, where we get 2 rounds for the CT, and then the T wins that final round. I think that's happened at least twice that I know for sure. And there's a world in which we see it happen again here. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I have no idea if it matters. The like winning 2, winning 3. These overtimes, I just have no idea what to make of them. But certainly, I'd say, yeah, if a team wins all 3, like if K27 win out this round, I'd be suggesting that that could be it. 4 overtimes is how much it took. But an opening kill for Sadame. Down vent, and he is on the B bomb site, but doesn't expect the quick rotation from Relaxi, so he loses all the map control that he garnered. And as well, X5 gets a kill on the players coming down secret. Relaxi with another huge multi-kill, 4 in the round for him. And now 3 juicy opportunities for K27 as they head on to their T side, and surely a quadruple overtime is where we will end this madness.
I'm like 87.3% sure that this is the first time that we've seen all 3 of the rounds in the first half of an OT. Yeah, okay, cool. You know, I hedge my bets a little with that percentage, but This could very well be it, but it's all going to come down to what are Nemesis going to do here. They've seen that double AWP shenanigan and they've gone, you know what? Yeah, okay. Let's see if they can replicate some similar magic. Magic Man himself taking this aggressive position, misses that first shot, so now it's well known where he is. He's managed to reposition, but I think Ashlet spotted him. So they're waiting to see if he pushes out. Oh, the shot misses. This is the craziest bit of happy feet that I've seen in a hot minute, but finally punished for his aggression, for his hubris. K27 find themselves in an advantageous position. Numbers advantage garnered, and they've managed to take down the raid boss of Magic Key. So suddenly this round and this map looks that much more winnable.
Results solo A. Results all by himself. He's got 2 players down towards B because of the lack of outside space. Sadame has got a double AWP towards ramp. If K27 go A, I don't see how that isn't just it.
And there we go. A second kill to follow up. Utility spreads out on towards this A site. And it feels like this may just be the end of the line. A miracle now required. Celta's position very much known as the bomb starts to get punched in. And as it goes down, Relaxi finds his mark. Sadame trying to battle back as far as possible. But time certainly of the essence here. I thought that might have been a Molotov, but no, it was a flash. So nothing will come off the back of that.
I think they still heard Quinky though.
Oh, slowly but surely battling through the remaining reinforcements, but left all on his lonesome. How on earth does he get this much done? But it's not enough. It took 4 overtimes, an absolute slog of a map. But K27 have taken, importantly, their opponent's map pick. Nemesis now need to find a way back in.
Yeah, it's still map 1, by the way, guys. But 10 times is the charm. Is the charm, I suppose. Their 10th map point. K27 won out this map. It's not like Nemesis didn't have their own opportunities that they squandered, but obviously not as much as 10. An epic comeback that unfortunately is not going to see the light of day. 3 players hit 40 kills in that game. It was simply ridiculous. Relaxi in that final round to close out the map. K27, they'll be looking to head towards the upper bracket final, continue their win streak of not games, but tournaments. All they have to do is win out their map pick of Dust 2.
hope you all took that little break to go and refill your drink, grab some snacks, maybe, take a little bathroom break. If this second map is going to be anything like that first map, it's going to be all out. I'm Nari, and I'm joined as usual with Grimmy Rana, and we are in the thick of Nemesis versus K27. And, well, unfortunately for Nemesis, they lost their map pick, and K27 now sit firmly in the driving seat.
Yeah, that has got to be up there with one of the crazier games of Counter-Strike that I have been able to bear witness in for a long time. 46 rounds played out. 3 players either hit or surpassed 40 kills. But if we talk about the highs of Relaxi, Xido, Sadame, even Majiki, even though he didn't maybe get necessarily the same amount of kills, had the impact. Got to talk about the lows of Cashlid, the AWPer for K27, being outdone and outshone by his counterparts, which can't happen on Dust 2, I feel like. And then Quinky, the anchor that I talked so highly of. I said that, well, you posed me the question, who would be the player from K27 that makes a step up? I said Quinky. Didn't do too well, did he? So there's big highs but big lows for K27, and it feels like they're very fortunate to come out of that one on top despite being 12-6 up in regulation.
It was certainly a sight to behold, just how back and forth it went, blow for blow, trading all the way through. Magic Key was somebody that I came in and I looked at the roster and I was like, Results joined recently. That's definitely somebody I'm going to be keeping an eye on. And I mean, to be fair, it's not like he didn't show up, but Magic Key with the flashy plays, with just how crazy some of those multi-kill rounds were. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do on Dust 2. Like, of all the maps to, put an AWPer on, which also brings me to the topic of another AWPer who maybe didn't have as much of an opportunity to shine as what we'd expected, right? Cashlid, unfortunately, didn't really show up on Nuke, and I'm wondering if maybe moving on to Dust 2, there's going to be more opportunities for him to start shining.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, it's Dust 2, but definitely had those opportunities on Nuke, and the difference between him and Magiki is that Mr. Magic Hands, he was creating the opportunities for himself. He was getting aggressive, hut, ramp, secrets from multiple directions. Outside, he was just getting in the opponent's face, but then not only getting a kill, but then like instantly pivoting elsewhere. So a really impressive game for him so far. And if I'm not mistaken, I think those games have been played today and have been finished by the time we finished our first map. Sangal, RIP Cypher, bless up, get eliminated by Namiga, who have been all over the place this year when it comes to roster changes, but hey, I guess changing your IGL 7 times works. And then TDK, a very expected result, that one, against what is, I think, now TNC, if I'm not mistaken. I think Los Kagutos just got picked up by TNC. So not a great start for them with their organization. So it's the 2 CIS sides making their way through the lower bracket. What's happening in that other game in the upper bracket? I wonder if you've got an update.
Yeah. So last check-in, it was 1-0 game score in favor of 1 win. But they went into the second half of Overpass 7-5. But it's sitting at like 12-5. 12-11. Ursa in the lead. So it's kind of... Oh no, they've just hit overtime. So...
Eepers.
Pretty close to fair.
We had a pretty long game.
Actually, when you put it that way, because their first map was 13-10 as well.
Yeah, it's kind of... I mean, yeah, we did literally play 2 games of Counter-Strike, and then you add on the tech pauses, and then you add them on again here. But so whoever wins that Ursa 1 win obviously goes to the upper bracket final. Whoever loses plays up against TDK. Not an easy game. And whoever loses our game that we're watching will go up against Nemiga. There doesn't really feel like any easy prospects. I think it's fair to say Ursa are probably the team that maybe overachieved this event so far, as they've been pretty silent, all things considered, this year since their raucous beginnings with an upset against BC Game. But Alv is back and playing at his highest level. Talking about AWPers, maybe Cashlid might get replaced.
All right. Well,
they're also playing with their coach, by the way.
Oh, damn.
Good old
That's...
Geo.
Damn. All right. All right, let's dive into map number 2 now and see where we end off. I think we're both kind of but predicting a K27 potential 2-0 here with them winning out on Nemesis's map pick. But anything can happen. You can never count anybody out just yet. And Texi, okay, gets his, but gets shot out while... his opponent is fully blind. These things do happen, I suppose, and Nemesis have found themselves a numbers advantage. Somehow, Pinky and Relaxi have managed to kind of thread the needle a little bit throughout all of that chaos. Haven't committed just yet. Certainly concerned about a potential double doors player here. Oh my god, it's the bomb going through first and wins out on the duel. So there you go. Space garnered, but the dualies are here to potentially back up. The smoke comes up, the shot comes through the smoke, and the follow-up from Magic Key is perfect. Nemesis find the first pistol.
Great start to this map for Nemesis. And I've got a bit of a narrative to spin for the old Nemesis squad. Normally, I'd be pretty scared about teams going on to another map like this. They'd probably be quite tired. Nemesis are like the one team that I don't associate with being ever tired. I've watched them end a BO3 at 5 a.m. and start the next one. No, sorry, at 7 a.m. and then start the next one at 2 p.m. and then go on to win 2 more afterwards. Like this team, I actually associate with stamina. That being said, though, they have just lost the B-bomb site in a pretty magnificent manner. Though it's just a very quick gimmick. Quinky and X5 get the ability kills, and Nemesis. Well, you gotta ruin my narrative, boys.
That's such an unfortunate way for this round to go. A little bit of a spend into it from K27, despite how that first round went. They go for a little bit of a gamble on it, and it pays off. Also, I don't know if you saw, so it was tweeted out that now statistically confirmed Dust 2B is the most difficult site to retake on.
Wasn't that wrong? It was like just going off bomb explosions and bomb defusers, so not accounting for like the round context.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. I got so excited because that's something that I've believed for a very long time, and it was really cool to see stats. And now you're telling me my.
I mean,
it
probably very well is true. I think the context of that stat is like it's not accounting for like rounds that just aren't winnable or whatever. But I'd probably say it's probably right, give or take a few maybe percentages, but. It probably is right, yeah. Like maybe a Nubis B or like Nuke B could give it a run for its money, or even Inferno B for that matter.
So what we're saying is that B site is problematic, is what I'm getting from this.
Well, Inferno, both sides are pretty problematic.
That's pretty valid, yeah. It just
Same with
Inferno is
Anubis.
quite problematic.
Hey, don't talk badly about my boy. Only the most exciting deciders I've played on Inferno.
Okay. Honestly, as long as Vertigo's not in the map pool, I'm happy. So.
You're just a generational hater. Vertigo.
Vertigo?
It's called
Yes.
Vertigo for a reason.
No, that is definitely sarcastic. No one is saying that unironically. Except maybe
Just
the old
wrong.
complexity roster.
The only reason UKCS is alive is because of Vertigo.
Is it alive?
We have people.
I was about to say, if you guys never hear from me again, Freddy found me. Alright. There's a second for K27. Off to the races. But Nemesis got to hold on to their weaponry, so see if they can push back a little bit. Do we hit B again? You know, there's that old if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Do we go again or get a bit, you know, cheeky?
I mean, that would certainly set the tone if they were to do so. Ooh, okay, Cashlid. Welcome to the server. And I'm not talking about just for this map. Welcome to the game. Welcome to the party. X5, though, does give away a freebie. All things considered for Nemesis, this is a round where they're just utilizing the weapons they've saved, and it's ultimately an eco where they're buying up into the next. So the result isn't groundbreaking here. Damage is normally the aim of the game, but in a 4v4 like this, you kind of actually start to think, maybe we can win the round. And Texi baited in for maybe more than one here.
Oh, well, there you go. Baited is certainly the word. He falls by the waysides. Dame is quick to follow. That should be, well, cleanup, really. Oh, there's going to be a meeting in lower tunnels. Quinky, ready? Is he ready? No, not even a little bit ready. Goodness me. Quite a few angles to check there. Timing was a factor. So a bit of damage done. But ultimately, that lead continues to grow for K27. I mean, let's be realistic. I don't think we were expecting too much to come out of either this round or the one before. It was really the one before that, the second round, where Nemesis really shouldn't have lost that. But, hey, it is what it is. We did see something similar, however, on Nuke, right? Where, like, some interesting economic decisions left them in a situation where they only actually got guns, like, 4 or 5 rounds into the half, and then it was just an absolute runaway train. So, now those guns are starting to come out. Maybe this is where the pivot happens.
An important round to also get a litmus test for the Cashlid v Magikey AWP duel on Dust 2. I've already seen more from Cashlid in these 5 rounds ongoing than I did from him in 47 rounds of Nuke, so I don't know if that's worrisome for his performances on Nuke or also worrisome for Nemesis on this second map. X5 being chunked by that second grenade. So good damage for the CT side as they look to retake some short control. Currently no one's holding for them. And I'm not entirely sure if K27 will expect this.
Good little bit of conditioning there towards mid. Nice. A decent amount of... No, it doesn't. I was going to say it denies sightlines. No, it doesn't. Oh, man. That is very unfortunate. Double kill for Dame. And Magikey, unfortunately, flashed off. But they have the numbers advantage. The reinforcements have started to arrive. This should be a fairly even or easy hold. But Cashlid has certainly... Oh, man. You know what? I said it. I wasn't even sure if I believed it when I said it, but here we are on Dust 2, and Cashlid has turned up the heat. Lovely little double kill from him to make this round that little bit more winnable. Surely Quinky knows that was a boost up, and there you go, the crossfire set up by Cashlet, who goes for a 4th. Beautiful round from him here. Finally putting the haters to rest. It's you, Freddy. You're haters.
It's just because it's crazy how poorly he plays on 47 rounds of Counter-Strike. Could just never get his footing. And then all of a sudden, within 5 rounds, he is the difference maker. And then some. Next round, not skipping a beat, but overstays his welcome, and Zidane will punish him for that. But this B bomb site, it hasn't exactly held anything, and it's going to fall like a house of cards once more. Zidane has rotated in with his AWP, but he'd be better off just saving, as Magic Key invested all his funds to buy that up in this round, and K27 stormed to a 5th. And I feel like that previous round was Nemesis's opportunity after they had that, 5v3? That was for them to get an imprint in this game. And now that that's been lost, I wonder if they ever will.
I suppose it's probably worth noting the juxtaposition here, because Magic Key, despite this being Dust 2 CT, despite the performance that we saw from him on Nuke, hasn't really done much so far. And I know, okay, we're 5 rounds in, but certainly not a good look. Okay, they'll get to keep the AWP, so Magic Key will have another opportunity to try to make some magic happen. But we're already halfway through this half. This feels like a blink and you miss it. It's been super one-sided, it's been really quick, and suddenly we're 6 rounds deep, and it's a 4-round lead for K27. Things are starting to look somewhat dire for the Nemesis squad. And money is also a bit of a problem here for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's really much to note, but for Cashlid, his worst rated map by quite a bit is Nuke. He is quite actively on the maps the worst at Nuke. It does too. It's much better than Nuke, that's for sure. Wouldn't be his best map. Kind of look at maybe look towards a Mirage, Anubis, Ancient, which is surprising. As an AWPer, his best map is Ancient. But right now, he is proving himself. But Magic Key, he's finally arrived to show some rebuttal. A big opening kill. And also, he's just baited in Texi, and the timing has gotten away from him. But he might just still push through long doors. But the B bomb site, it could be in the crosshairs of K27. However, due to them not getting that clean opening pick on Zidane, they're going to retreat. They're going to reposition and try just hit up shorts.
A good little bit of stall coming out here from Nemesis. K27 not really having taken any space just yet, but Magic Key repositioned from over towards that B bomb site, and beautiful first kill onto the encroaching hordes. Now Cashlid's been left pretty much alone. He'll be shut down. The bomb is lost. And this is a great resurgence from Nemesis. This is what we were talking about before. Okay, it took a little bit longer than I'd originally anticipated, but they do. They slow that pacing down quite nicely. The opening kill, of course, can't be understated. But good working of the map, and finally we might start to see them battle back.
Very fast out long for the T side. And despite the flashes being very good, Texi needs to be careful. But him and Zidane, they just swing for the fences. And they will claim that advantage. Magic Key makes it even better, as the default for K27 is kind of fallen apart at the seams in round 8.
Not with a bang, but a whimper, I suppose. Nemesis definitely starting to show some signs of life here. And a K27 timeout. Yeah, I mean, you lose 2 back-to-back rounds when you've had quite a hot streak. Conversations need to be had. Suddenly not getting the same success that they had been before. A lot of their rounds have seemed, like, util-wise, fairly consistent. And a lot of that obviously comes down to, like, conditioning, but I feel like Nemesis are starting to get a good read on how to deal with a lot of that pressure.
That was a nice shot from Texi. Well, it's going to be down onto the pistols for K27, so Nemesis have some room to breathe. Well fought 2 rounds on the trot for them. Their first rounds since they won the pistol. K27 going to fake out some long presence. Force counter utility from Nemesis. Actually would have been quite a nice counter long take from Nemesis. They played postured for that. But after forcing out all of that util and applying all that pressure, K27 with only 2 pieces of armor, a few deagles, even Glocks on 2. They've got 3 smokes and a flash left. They're going to try and just pop onto this A bomb site, but they have been met by a Mollo. They're going to have to run through that, taking a bit of damage. And for Magic Key, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Rotations are not amazing. 3 kills have been found. That is worrying. Plus the bomb's been planted, but no rifles look like they can be collected, which is, I think, the big difference maker. As, look, Exido and Cashlid are just on Glocks, and somehow the Glocks get another kill. That was terribly embarrassing for Nemesis. Or close to, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, I'm surprised they aren't going B, but maybe because they did that the previous time, they don't want to be too telegraphed, so we're trying something different, but oh man, Magic Key's holding here, so, you know, the long-range advantage is firmly in Nemesis's hands, surely. Well, a lot of space gets taken, and suddenly when you're up close and personal, even with a pistol, miracles can happen. Doesn't end up in a round win, but a whole hell of a lot gets done in that one. Unfortunately, we're getting close to that kind of who cares situation, particularly economically, because there's only, what, 3 rounds left in this half? Potential for that long-term consideration. Oh, and now we start to angle towards the B site, and Result has found himself on the wrong end of Cashlid's AWP. He finally does get traded back, but when you've got the entirety of K27 deathballing their way through, to get more than 1 as 4 players suddenly swing out in front of you would be pretty darn impressive. They have managed to form a wraparound here, Nemesis, so there's potential, but there's also a counter wraparound. You've got Relaxy pushing all the way in from the A site as well, so the moment anyone really shows any face, and Quinky is locked down main with the AWP, and anywhere that Nemesis try to move, there's an enemy ready and waiting. Texi's been left all alone to try to pick up the pieces. Bomb continues to tick down. Time waits for no man. And K27 will finally find a 6th.
Find a 6th and just kind of break up the momentum for Nemesis. Whoa, that is a shot and a half on Result. Quinky also shows that he can pick up the AWP and wield it to a proficient standard. Nemesis, not necessarily the money and flowing in it like you prophesized. They're actually going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel if things go south here. And that B bomb site, I don't think it's got a single kill on the actual site for across 3 or 4 rounds. Super worrying for Nemesis, considering as well Result, the guy who I said should be raising the floor of Nemesis, is playing over there. But in the meantime, this short take not looking too great for K27 as they kind of got caught as they were trying to execute it. Nice shots from Celta, and magic key, and then ultimately it's an easy tap in for Sedame.
Yeah, it felt like there was some questionable movement in those final moments, but you also have to consider, I mean, geez, when you're at that much of a disadvantage, very few decisions seem like the correct one. So unfortunately, that's another one that just kind of falls by the wayside. But I mean, we're on track for an evened out half, so there are certainly worse situations to be in. Nuke was a 7-5 in favor of K27. Let's see if they can replicate that scoreline. Unfortunately, as you said, I mean, they're still able to bring out this AWP and the AK, but it's very messy. Pots and pans, as mentioned before. If they can find the miracle that they need with it. A lot of their success has been on this B site, so we're seeing a strong angling there, but a little bit of noise made over towards A, just to see if they can pull some of that attention away. Nothing in mid. They don't really have the utility to spare for that, so it does somewhat give the game away to Nemesis. You start to get a really good read on what this potential exec is going to start to look like. And there's so much utility for Nemesis as well. They can just keep layering it. Smoke.
When does Seltzer peak? He's holding his nerve. And I think X5... Yeah. Seltzer? Okay, finally, he peaks. And now they have the information that there's no one long. With noise being made in tunnels, this B-bomb site, it's been weak. And that would be an understatement, but finally... All it takes is the T-side running through the smoke for it to be a clean hold. 6-6 at the half.
We don't get the repeat of the 7-5 that we saw earlier. A slightly more close affair this time around. And seemingly a little bit more back and forth. But I'm curious to see what that second half holds for us. We've had a very interesting change up between the two AWPers, and that was obviously the thing that I was really looking forward to seeing. But I don't know, Freddie, what has been your temperature check so far?
If the B bomb site had held one more round, apart from that final round where they got a little bit fortunate, I feel like Nemesis would have been getting a lot more than 6. It was just that B bomb site couldn't hold to the task. Very disappointing for the likes of Result, who's supposed to be the new boy in town to raise the floor of Nemesis, but wasn't quite there. A pistol round that is extraordinarily important. And with Nemesis on the T side, they spot out a lot of foes running up mid. So they choose to just take their time with things, put down utility, force them off the angles as they retake mid control at 1:20.
We'll see a pivot now towards the B bomb site. Has been a bit of a crowd favorite. Oh, Quinky holding very close with the dualies. And of course, you've got range support from the USP as well. So if he does fall here, hopefully his teammate will be able to kind of pick up the pieces a little bit. But still burning down that clock, not committing just yet. And as that util starts to come through, that's going to give the game away. And oh, Cedo, beautiful double from him. Cashlid continues along on that trajectory. And it is cleanup. I don't think that Nemesis even saw the bomb site. I had a vague idea that it was there, Mirage in the distance, but yeah,
we're not on Mirage, we're on Dust 2. Sorry.
Yeah, in the distance. That's the joke, Freddy.
Actually, Overpass would be in the distance.
Okay.
Sorry.
Reset round? Question mark?
I'm gonna assume that I doubt the single flashbang is gonna do it for me.
Oof.
Relaxy farming up those ecos. Oh, I thought that was a collateral. Never mind. I was excited for no reason.
We already had our quota of collaterals for the day. That was on Nuke.
Oh. Yeah.
No reset this time. Just clean as you like. And that's K27 picking up the first 2 rounds here in the second half. And once again picking up a little bit of momentum for themselves. But with Nemesis being on the T side, it means that they can get back into money a little bit more quickly. No bomb plants makes it a bit more tense than they'd like. Cedo. Oh, not just Cedo. Oh my god, they've all just run up mid. Not all, 2 of them. But still, and only good for 1. That's a bit unfortunate. Okay, thankfully, able to escape. That was quite a cheeky endeavor. It's left a lot of gaps that Nemesis now are able to really... Excuse me? Sorry?
Yeah.
Fair
That
enough.
was disgusting. And that just changes everything. Because right now, it would be Nemesis waiting for the smoke to get planted. They'd be in a 4v3. And you know what? It's still going to go their way. Because Celta comes and slips through the night. They don't expect him on shorts. They tunnel vision on the bomb being planted. And that just sets him up for an easy double. So Nemesis, after losing the pistol, win the first gun round and keep the possibility of a third map very much alive.
What was that shot, man? Even in the replay, my brain is barely understanding how that actually happens. But, yep, there you go. Fair enough. It does indeed happen. The slightly more aggressive play in towards mid leaves them somewhat bleeding into the round, and late round stability eludes them, unfortunately. Nemesis able to very quickly start, turning things in their favor. Been an unfortunate affair for K27's economy as well.
Looks like Nemesis are going to try to give K27 a taste of their own medicine on the B-bomb site. There's only a single player there, but it is Quinky with a smoke you can drop towards tunnels, but he needs to get that down lickety-split when contact is taken. It's too late already.
Started to come down in towards mid. They start moving through. Xedo from the double doors. He's been so good on this bomb site. It's actually a little bit unreal. Celta manages to find one on the lurk. MP9 at range, as one does. And that leaves Magic Key in a 1v4. Seemingly an unwinnable scenario, especially now as his position is well known. And it's a second MP9 kill. I say second. There were probably more in there, but that's how many I counted. And K27 pull back on the reins.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that round was over when Nemesis popped onto B, but I suppose I didn't account for the fact that Xedo could get 2 from doors. My bad, guys. But that's a really just pivotal round because it continues this back and forth nature where currently K27, they're winning it out by not only re-establishing themselves with a 2-round lead, but look what it's done to Nemesis's economy. They've got 2 Tech 9s, MP9, Galil AK. That is a really rough purchase. This is all in as well. They lose this and that may as well just be game over. But granted, we did say that at 12-6 on Nuke.
Alright, another B angle. Where is... here's Xedo. Just about to ask. Thank you, production. Not holding the double doors position, but in a good spot to pivot if necessary. Has been doing wonders for this anchoring position, and as the util starts to come through, tries to stem the tide ever so slightly, trades out on his teammate, but the Tech 9 gets in his face. Oh, attempting to recover that AK, costs Result his life. So in a 3v3 here, X5 absolutely YOLOs onto the site and will get punished for it. And unfortunately wasn't able to stop the bomb in all of that chaos. Trying to spot a head, a pixel, something to latch onto. Does indeed find it. Oh, but dies on the jump up. And Relaxy is all alone and will be shut down. This B-bomb site is a problem.
Well, I mean, it held last round, but this round it does not. And just the fact that, I guess, Xedo can't get a multi-kill is probably where it all goes a little bit wrong. And Quinky playing anti-flash, I think it was, and then they just kill him back-turned. Interesting retake approach from X5 as well, before his teammates are even remotely close to him. And this game, I feel like it's just constantly got surprises for us. No one able to maintain any consecutive success. And it just keeps on adding to the mystery of where are these maps going to end? Where are they going to go? Because you always feel like you have the answer, and then 2 minutes later you realize you're wrong.
This
a very enjoyable game from a viewer's perspective.
I was about to say, this has been the gift that keeps on giving, man. Just very entertaining, and this is of course what we live for. We love the fun to watch games. Now both teams crawl ever closer to double digits. Quinky, this is so cheeky. Both of them up close with MP9s. Each of them to find a kill. One of them with an HE. And Relaxy's just slipped up mid, as one does. But again, it's a retake on B. Nemesis are heavily leaning into the fact that this B-bomb site can be so very difficult to maneuver in a retake scenario, but they are at a numbers disadvantage. So how is this dealt with? Expecting that little bit of a boost up. It was prevalent in the previous round, but the bomb continues to tick down. Magic Key now position known 1v1 and shuts down both. We even up the score lines. Dare I say it? I'm feeling like we could have another OT.
That is an insane clutch from Majiki. A 2v3 post plant, and he does it all by himself. Damn, that is ice cold. And he is so quick on the trigger. I can't believe he hits the 2 instant headshots there. Trapped in, penned in. But it does not matter. K27 inept at clearing him, and finally, it is that consecutive success. A team wins 2 gun rounds in a row, and look what it does. It shatters their opposition's economy. K27, they had the advantage. It felt like this forced by craziness was going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, but it ends today. Or does it? What? K27, they have 2,400 loss bonus. They have a purchase next round. And they're forcing in? I mean, fortune favors the bold, but this is a bit too rich for my blood.
In the immortal words of a very good friend of mine, every round is a buy round. Evidently. Alright. Oh, and this time, not angling towards B. Not a bad call. You don't want to become too telegraphed, and when you know that you should be in a very advantageous position. It's advantageous, but it should be very. This should be K27 not spending in. Oh, Celta very nearly finds himself on the receiving end of a bullet to the brain. But now they're very much aware of just how much presence is on that short side. They opt to slow things down, and, well, wouldn't you know it, they're heading back towards B. Who'd have thunk? Still have Celta holding for this mid.
He's doing very well at also selling the presence through this short smoke, because Nemesis don't have any presence short. They're trying to make sure there is, and
Yeah, okay.
What was the methodology there? Nemesis have just tried to burst through the tunnel smoke with very limited utility, while Celta was still trying to play the control towards short, and that force buy that I profusely disagreed with works, but it's because of the negligence of Nemesis.
That's spooky. Yeah. I mean, because you could see that there was a smoke that was just busy fading, and so they're, I guess, trying to just work off of that timing, and you can even see them in that replay trying to check some of these closer angles. I mean, and to be fair, K27, you've got Xido and Quinky that are holding on that B-bomb site, and they tend to be somewhat dynamic with their positioning, right? And okay, a lot of it is gun dependent, but, you know, sometimes you've got Xido playing towards the doors, or he's playing, towards that back box, and Quinky sometimes playing by car, sometimes he's playing that close left corner, and so they're just kind of constantly, sometimes both of them are up close and personal, particularly if they've got like MP9s. So not realizing that there's a force in this round, maybe they're thinking if there are going to be players here, they're going to be trying to take closer range duels. And if that was the read, unfortunately, it was the wrong one. K27 now back in the driving seat at Hero Galil, a phrase that we don't often hear.
Oh, yeah.
You know, every now and then.
That's when you know it's going really well, when it's a Hero Galil out.
Okay, spotted out a little bit of presence here. Pulls out some utility. Great timing on that smoke.
Oh, bye-bye, Saddam.
Yeah, I mean, what are you meant to do? Pistol round? Just do what you
It's
can.
a lot more than a pistol round, Sam. This is everything. Nemesis, they've got no loss bonus. It was a full investment. K27 are onto 11 because of this victory, and because it was so clean, they have money for days. Nemesis, I think that is potentially what breaks the camel's back. They have to play with the Glocks. They have to give over 12 to K27. And Cashlid, because of the economic turmoil and the back and forth nature, he necessarily hasn't had the opportunity to bring an AWP out. And I think that's mattered. But now he has the big green, and I'll have it against the rifles in the next. Nemesis, we've seen them do it from a steeper loss where they've had to go 6 to 12. Here, 3 rounds in a row, it is possible.
We've seen similar situations, well, very specifically a similar situation on Nuke. between these two teams just earlier today. Nemesis hoping that they can dig deep and find some semblance of that magic that they had before. The miracle run that took them into 4 overtimes. But as you mentioned, this is not looking like it's going to be the round where they get to make that magic happen. Quick and clean. It is an execution down A long. And it's map and series point for K27. 3 consecutive rounds now required from Nemesis just to keep the ball rolling and to give them a chance in an overtime.
Well, we've seen them do it on map 1. Surely 3 rounds in a row is just child's play. They got 7 in a row on Nuke. Was CT side, different kettle of fish. They also have a big lack of utility. But you know what helps? When the B players just give you the opening kills. X5 on the rotation. This is, once again, extremely bold. Oh my god, he's quicker than the price of oil. Unfortunately, he can't double down. And Cashlid coming from window is actually just going to ultimately get spammed through the smoke. Sweet Jesus, that was a wrist breaker from X5. But now Relaxi, a 1v3 that I don't see being attainable. And this very well should be the first of 3 needed for Nemesis.
You're putting a lot of faith in their ability to convert this into 2 back-to-back rounds.
What?
Well, you said it should be like the first of 2, right?
The first of 3. So the first of 3 rounds that they need to win to get to overtime.
Okay. It kind of sounded to me like you were saying like it's gonna happen, you know? Like this is the first one, and now
oh yeah, it is gonna happen.
Is it?
There's no time. Yeah, it is gonna happen. Like, they have no money, who cares? They don't need money. Who needs primary rifles with full utility?
Don't take the bait, Samantha. Don't take the bait.
This is just how Nemesis do it. It's a content organization after all.
Oh, let's see. I mean, I'll be honest, another quad overtime would certainly be content. So perhaps that's what it was all about.
Why stop at 1?
Why stop at 4, you know? Because if we get another 4, you're totaling on 8. I mean, that's just all the overtimes. Ah!
Wow.
I was just about to start about how this opener would be everything, but Cashlid loses out, and that's going to open up this A bomb site. Relaxi's the last kind of vestige at the moment. There are reinforcements to come in the form of X5, and he has actually had the time to do so with all these smokes up in the way, but they're losing every single one of these engagements.
It's on.
And there it is. Yep. Apparently the comeback is on.
Bomb's going B. I love it. Ka-chow. That was some entry from Texi. Obviously, the twin brother of Nosa. Unfortunately, they've just been bested by Vitality in Blast. And Texi's had a really slow series on a consistent basis, as he's supposed to be like the guy of Nemesis, especially in this iteration of the roster. I mean, he's kind of being saved by the fact that Sedame's stepping into those shoes. Hard shoes to fill. But we saw the comeback for Nemesis start to sprout on Nuke because of Texi and Magiki stepping up to the plate. That could be a moment that foreshadows the future of Texi. But speaking about bad money, round 24, K27, take a look at that.
That's very unfortunate. Oh my god, we're going to overtime again, aren't we? I mean, I said it at 9-9, and I think there was a part of me that only, like, vaguely thought it was possible. But apparently, Nemesis believed in the dream. You know what they say, don't let your dreams be memes. Better go out there and make them come true. Feels like maybe they have just done that. Although, we've seen K27 win with similar kind of unfavorable situations. This is all gonna come down to this one round. Heavy presence in towards short here. And they'll start making their way in. Cashlet is ready and waiting for it. Here we go. Line up the flashes. Oh, missed opportunity, unfortunately. He's gonna have to happy feet his way around this brick wall, waiting for his teammates to get into position, but it is just an absolute firing gallery. Xedo now in position, the hero play, he has stepped up. Xedo and Quinky have booked it from the B site to try to salvage this final round. They've done so much in between the two of them. They just need to find two more. They've bought time down to below 30 seconds remaining. Bomb is lost on the site, and now all of the onus is on Nemesis to find space, to recover the bomb, and to get back some semblance of control. They've shut down Quinky, and Xedo is quick to follow. And despite the heroics, somehow we end up in our 5th overtime of the night.
I feel like I've repeated this sentence a few times, but I think there's a reason why Nemesis are called the best content organization. Because what more do you want? Eat your heart out. Overtime number 5. Kind of technicalities. Overtime number 5. We go again. But in this marathon, previously K27 came out on top, and losing 9 map points did not phase them. 6 of those 9 were in a row. And already missed utility. Celta just mollos. He misses mollo, unfortunately. I try to find something funny to say there, but nope, just misses the mollo. And he actually takes a lot of damage in the process. Not because of the missed mollo, but just coincidentally. 12-12. And Nemesis have made their presence known. They are very much in mid, taking short. And X5, alongside Xedo, still kept entertained towards middle, and this is what Nemesis want. They want these two players to be familiarizing themselves with Door as the pop comes up short.
Oh, I've seen this movie before. Oh, Cashlet, only good for the first, unfortunately, not able to slip away into that good night. So it was rather sent down the river of dreams. Dame with the push up through mid has created that pincer maneuver. Unfortunately, Xedo is still alive, and if he's still alive, there's something to be said in the round. Between him and Relaxy, they've managed to, again, buy some time here. Oh, Dame caught trying to escape back towards the B bomb site. And it begs the question, why couldn't they do this last round?
It's Hayes' law. You can't mess with the prophecies.
Here we go again.
Okay. It's crazy because Nemesis kind of do everything right in that round to have X5 entertain towards CT as the hits coming in, but he's still able to process his way over and get a kill. I can't tell if there was supposed to be a smoke on first short there, because the AWP just kind of gets a freebie. Okay, he's blinded, it's a timing shot, but you know, there's normally a smoke there. Did they just not have one? But then if they didn't, that's like a big misplay to go for a call like that and not have that smoke. It feels kind of menial. But those are the mistakes that become very glaring in these environments. And speaking of menial, Cashlid, lucky to get away with his life, and with 2 molos dumped on his head, he actually comes away surprisingly healthy.
And still has line of sight.
God.
How have you done that, Clinky? That's actually unreasonable. Although, to be fair, I mean, I don't know if I should be mentioning Quinky or Sedame in that scenario. How is X5 just chilling here? What? Managing to get one before he's finally traded. Oi, this is very odd and, okay. We slow down. We stabilize. We go 1 for 1
We never
again.
stabilize, Sam.
Apparently not. This is about as stable as my mental. Oh, good shot onto Xido. But that leaves Cashlid all alone now. And he's just holding this long sight line. Hits the shot. Looking for the second. Uncertain where that second player is. Spots him. Hop, skipping and jumping his way past the double doors to allow that bomb to get planted. Pulled up into an AK now. Knows that trying to go for a retake with an AWP is not the ideal scenario. And of course, Magic Key has the same thought, makes a step. Magic Key knows he's there. Oh, but Magic Key steals his nerve. And we go 13-13. 1 for 1. Blow for blow. We carry on.
It's kind of crazy how this round goes in favor of Nemesis. How many flanks in this round? I kind of lost count.
All of them.
But the 2 AWPers on rifles coming head to head, and Magic Key shuts down what would have been an extraordinary round from Cashlid. See, K27, I can pronounce their names right. Yeah.
We may have very slightly got called out on
mispronounce. Okay, so if anyone who's from the CIS region, when X5 played for K27, K20, what was the other K21, K23? Back when he first came on the scene, K something, which is so funny that he's playing for another K27. Was it K23? That sounds about right. Oh, that's an auto. And okay, but yeah, K23 back in like 21, 22, we were all told it was Zagev. So we called him X5, which apparently I've been told to call him now. We were told Zagev, and we've all, as a collective, called him Zagev. Now I'm being told it's X5 again. Riddle me this, ladies and gentlemen.
You should just know, like, intuitively, you know? Ooh. Huh. You found a pixel. Lucky duck. Does slow them down somewhat. We've seen a similar play before. Just making a lot of noise while the bomb moves its way in a different direction. Oof. The util damage has been kind of nasty so far in this round, and it's leaving Nemesis in a... What? He's done it again! He's done it again! Another collat from Magic Key, and that completely opens up the round for them as they burst in onto the site. Bomb plant not needed. It's just an execution, and they take the lead once more. I thought we'd reached our quota. Apparently not.
I mean, the quota is normally like 1.
That's what I mean.
In the meantime, you were talking about UK Counter-Strike, and what are we? Mr. Tree 60 is up 7-5 against Wildcard on LAN. How'd you like them apples? Yeah.
Wildcard's still a thing?
And what?
I thought Wildcard, like, went boom.
And what? They just picked up Nemanja the GOAT.
Wait, they're winning against the team that used ChatGPT to form their roster? That's crazy.
They've got NA's top 3 support player and star player. They've got Nemanja, who just led an unranked team to top 20. I'm taking what I can get.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, it is now Nemesis on the defense. Celta takes a first engagement at range and is going to be put pretty low. If you guys can cast your mind back, this B bomb site really struggled in regulation. Like, it really, really didn't do well. I think it held once, which was the final round, and that was largely in part to K27 deciding to just run through a smoke. But apart from that, it wasn't exactly a fun time. Here, K27 for a lot of fake utility towards that part of the map. It draws Magic Key over. He's trying to unlock the key to this round, and it is going to be up short. He's in a very difficult position. An AWP in this round is just going to get chopped down. He was better off just staying towards mid.
Advantage K27 as they look to close that gap once more with the bomb planted now in Nemesis quite far removed from one another. Oh, Sedane, how aware are you? Not aware enough. Quinky gives away his position, and with those shots through the door, that actually gives over some info to the rest of his team, allows them to just kind of double down a little bit here. They hold the line, and Celta, with scant HP remaining, forced to turn tail. And we do indeed see the equalizer once more. It's a lot more of a close affair than what we saw on that first map, but it looks like it might just go the distance in a similar fashion.
Who knows? We will write that chapter when we get there. For now, though, I'm just kind of taking a look at the fact that, like, Magic Key is really actively wanting to contend them up short, whereas Texi and the long player are like, I'm out of here, dude. We're playing retake. Oh, our AWP has died committing up? That was a shame. Because if Magic Key had been calmed over, that like, yes, we're playing retake, give up going up short, we're not in position to fight for it, boom, he holds towards middle, bang, he gets the opening kill on Quinky. Not only does he stay alive, but his team get the advantage. Instead, it's the other way around. So, miscomms for Nemesis, and maybe the product of a late game going the distance even further. But Nemesis, I actually commented upon their anti-long pops in regulation. I said it was really nice. Right there, their protocols are to a T. Relaxy fools, and it's advantage for the boys in purple.
I like that aggressive positioning from Celta. Gets him that opening kill. I mean, I know that K23 like to send someone around the long position just to be a problem, be a nuisance. They've shut that down. That's opened up a lot of possibility for them. Now as we crest the minute mark, decisions need to be made. And there you go. We're going to pop straight through the smoke now. And straight into the waiting arms of Nemesis, it would appear. Oh my god, caught in a reload. Oh, that's just the worst imaginable. 3v2 now on this retake. Cedo is devastatingly low on health. Ah, the HE doesn't land. I thought it might just have a bounce. Not to be. Little bit of time, little bit of wiggle room for Nemesis to try to get themselves into position. We send 2 towards short to create that pincer. Flash out, but Xedo's in a great position to not be deterred by it whatsoever. Doesn't get hit by the Molotov either. Magic Key not checking that angle, and Xedo sprays down for 2. Bro, it had 10 HP in a dream, and he sprays down both CTs to confirm a 15th.
It's just Exceda's world, and we're all living in it. This is on the back of advantage continuously being sought after by Nemesis. And Excedo, he barely even understands, he barely even processes that he got the second kill there. His spray control is just that good. He doesn't even need to see them. Opening kills, advantages for Nemesis, and they throw it all away. K27, it's yet another map point. It's not quite the 10th that they won on Nuke. It's only the 4th. But can they close it out here a lot quicker and a lot more comfortably than their previous map? This is their map pick, so you kind of go along the thought process of, well, surely they could be more comfortable in closing it out, but sometimes logic in these scenarios doesn't always uphold itself.
Also, to be fair, even if they won it now, to call that comfortable definitely sounds like a bit of hope. Considering we
After
found
a quad overtime,
yeah, I suppose.
it's,
Ooh,
you know, swings and roundabouts. Welcome back to Envious 2015, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh! Alright, Cashlet.
It's poetic that Cashlet is the one to get the kill.
Hell yeah, he's really staking his claim here on that matchup.
He's slowed down a lot though, truth be told, but it's that it's an important kill like that which kind of makes up for it.
And immediately they abandoned one of their orbs. I don't hate it. You know what? Get that opening kill, then get onto something that makes a little bit more sense for your T side. What do Nemesis do about that second orb? You know, do we go and recover it? Do we leave it there? Stick on the rifles ourselves? K27 yet to fully commit to anything just yet. And again, it's just smokes and mirrors. A lot of sightline denial in towards mid. Pay attention to Texie's positioning here. He could be the... There it is, the nail in the coffin. He gets his, Result gets one as well, but Cashlid continues on that hot streak to keep it into a 3v3. Now Celta tucked in. Are they going to check for him? What? What? Oh my... Okay, Celta just kind of bottles that a little bit. Zidane is now sold up the river 1v3 on map point to try to salvage this scenario.
Look at the time.
10 seconds remain though. Bomb starts to get planted. HE over the top does stop the bomb from being planted. Oh my god, they've run out of time.
They have to kill him.
What? Oh my god, they've done it! They've spammed through the smoke, and in the last vestiges, the last nanoseconds of time remaining, somehow K27 have found the light and have closed it out in the first OT. That whole round is going to give me nightmares, but for K27, it's a cause for celebration.
If I'm Celta there, my desk is being snapped in half. I can't believe... He's whiffed that. Playing anti-flash, K27 never expected him to be there. All the contact was taken by his teammates on the bomb side, and yet he whiffs his lines. A 3v3, but then even a 1v3 that looked like it was going to be winnable. Oh, it's so rough for Nemesis. They have fought so hard in this best of 3, totaling 5 overtimes, 2 comebacks. You gotta really respect their resistance and their just ability, no matter what, how far down they are, when their backs are against the wall, they rise up. But today, it would all be forgotten, lost in the annals of times, as they go down to the lower bracket quarterfinals, where they're going to have to face off a very strong Nemiga.
Yeah, I think that the good news here is, of course, with it being a upper bracket game, you still have that kind of safety net that you can rely on. And I say safety again, it's Nemiga, right? There's nothing terribly safe about that, but they have another opportunity to try to make that lower bracket run. And as you can see before you guys, here is that prize pool once again. So our 7th to 8th positions are basically locked in, and now it's down to our remaining teams to see how that prize split is going to flesh itself out as things go on. But that's going to be us wrapping things up here for Europe. A bit of a longer one. Felt like 3 maps, was actually only 2, but very enjoyable. And looking forward to more Europe because, of course, there will be a lot more of that over the coming days as we finish up our bracket. But there's also more action tonight, as I know, Freddie, you're going to be jumping onto the South American broadcast in just a few minutes. So everybody, you know, there's a lot more Counter-Strike to enjoy. Don't go too far. And if you want to know more about when games are going to be played, make sure to follow ESL on social media. And, of course, HLTV is there as a resource. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening, and we'll see you very soon. Position. Unfortunately now, numbers disadvantage. Oh, but it's Segev. He's the one that comes up massive. That's the anchor you needed. A 3k from him. Ooh, some good damage done in onto Quinky. Oh, to Dame. Oh, the collateral to follow it up. But, all right, Nemesis looking for a little bit of perfection here. Ooh, the return fire. Catches his counterpart, getting themselves out here, trying to take this map control. Unfortunately, Celtic gets caught out. Oh my god, magically. Not only aggressive, dynamic, on for the ace now. As he starts to come through, they've cleared out the main entryways. They still have to clear the silos, and so they do for the most part. Resalt's still here. Reinforcements have arrived in outside, and they've pivoted in towards 8. Jesus, Relaxy. Round to keep that momentum going. Quinky with the reposition. Oh my god, they don't even check for him. They don't even look. They have no idea.
And as well, X5 gets a kill on the players coming down secret. Relaxy with another huge multi-kill.
Nice. Decent amount of... No, it doesn't. It has turned up the heat. Love little double kill from him to make this round that little bit more winnable. Surely Quinky knows that was a boost up, and there you go, the crossfire set up by Cashnet, who goes for a 4th.
They already
started to come down in towards mid. They start moving through. Xedo from the double doors, deterred by it whatsoever. Doesn't get hit by the Molotov either. Magic Key not checking that angle. What? Oh my... Okay, Celta just